at Stanford.
Let's take the field like you own the field. Cardinal, white, let's go!
Stanford has owned much of the last 2 years. An elite quarterback leading the Cardinal to consecutive BCS Bowls. Now it's a new era, led by an old runner. Stephon Taylor may be Stanford's all-time best by year's end. The challenge for Taylor and his Cardinal teammates, can they once again make a splash in the Pac-12? A great revival in college football has taken place on this storied campus. And on the field of Stanford University, David Shaw leads his team in their annual walk across campus into the stadium, where tonight a new man assumes the mantle that has a glory tradition in this school's history, Stanford quarterback. The Stanford Cardinal and the San Jose State Spartans to kick off their 2012 college football season. And we welcome you, and we are so pleased to be with you on the Pac-12 networks with Glenn Parker and Ryan Neese, Ted Robinson. We will be with you every week throughout what figures to be another wildly entertaining and competitive Pac-12 football season. But it starts here at Stanford, Glenn, and for once, the quarterback conversation is about somebody new. For Josh Nunes, a childhood dream realized tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to hear this refrain often from the coaches and from the fans. He does not have to be Andrew Luck. Josh Nunes just has to go out and be Josh Nunes. He has a lot of weapons around him. He's got a great team around him, an awesome defense that's very stout and very deep. He's got a good offensive line. All Josh Nunes needs to do is go out, make the right decision, play within himself, and you hear that statement all the time. Just be himself. They'll be fine.
But that's really a key, isn't it? We'll see tonight with Stanford starting, not asking Nunes to do an awful lot up front.
Yeah, he doesn't have to audible as much. He's just going to get the plays in, run the mechanics of this game, make sure everything flows right. They'll be fine.
Well, Stanford has an accelerated preparation period here because they have USC in a huge game coming up in 2 weeks. This game also honors one of football's great names who's related to both schools, Bill Walsh. It's the Bill Walsh Legacy Game, and it comes your way next on Pac-12 Networks. Pac-12 football is brought to you by new Dr. Pepper 10 bold calories, 23 flavors. And by 5 Hour Energy. Tackle the tired, take 5 Hour Energy. Yeah, it's a beautiful, well, final August evening of this summer on the Stanford campus. Students are not in school. Stanford's on the quarter system. In fact, students don't come to campus. Classes don't start until the end of September. So that's going to eliminate a little bit of the normal, well, it eliminates all the student attendance. It eliminates a little bit of the enthusiasm we would normally get.
That, but what it does is that it certainly is an advantage to those teams that are on the quarter system because they don't have to deal with the distraction of class early on in the season, so they get a lot more time with each other.
Yeah, and that's been something that David Shaw has appreciated in his rookie year. The son of a longtime terrific coach himself, Willie Shaw, David Shaw, who played here at Stanford, Pac-12 Coach of the Year, taking the Cardinal to a BCS Bowl. Mike McIntyre is in his third year, and he inherited a San Jose State program that was at a low point, and you can see what improvement McIntyre made last year in year two, and the story that you often hear from guys in that position. Mike McIntyre feels like he's recruited better size, better depth at any point in his 3 years at San Jose State.
San Jose State's a lot like a San Diego State or a Fresno State. It's a sleeping giant. It's in a great position to grow and become a powerhouse. Just needs the right coach to get it done.
So the ball will be put down by San Jose State, and Stanford is using Alex Carter. That is a true freshman, and there will be some who will play tonight. Alex Carter is back to return the kick. Ty Montgomery, a wide receiver, will do that in spots this year for Stanford. Harrison Wade will kick off for San Jose State. And the 2012 football season at Stanford is underway. And Alex Carter will start from the 2-yard line. And San Jose State covers well. Broke through the initial wall and deny Carter the 20-yard line. That's something you're going to see from Stanford. There are several very talented freshmen that are going to play right away. This is a young man who's in his 4th year. Now, athletically, he's a junior. That's a confusing thing that will apply to many of the Stanford graphics tonight. But Josh Nunez is a junior athletically, and he has been chosen by David Shaw to be the starting quarterback, a competition really with Brett Nottingham, who was the main backup last year to Andrew Luck when Nunez was hurt. Stephon Taylor is the deep back. Drew Terrell, wide receiver left, and Stanford starts right away with the run. And another place where Stanford had to replace 2 very highly drafted players is on their offensive line, as we see the Esurance starting lineup. And Stanford is actually starting David Yankee as the left tackle tonight. And the other spot, Kevin Dancer replacing David DeCastro, who was a first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, as the right guard. So Nunez goes to the shotgun. First pass on 2nd down is caught by Montgomery, and he'll be out, should have a first down. Montgomery figures to be the leading receiver for Stanford this year. Chris Owusu had held that role. He is also graduated. As we look at the Spartans' 4-man defensive front, their key player there is the right end, Travis Johnson, who is a Bay Area product, and one of those players has grown dramatically. This could be a key for them, Glenn, how their linebacking trio stands up.
How their trio stands up, and if they can generate pressure, if they can win on 1st down and generate pressure on 3rd down.
So Stanford with that short pass to Montgomery gets a first. And Nunez comes out, throws the quick smoke out in the right flat. Look at Montgomery, going to let him run, and he takes the corner, Ronnie Yell, and runs him all the way out to the far side and should have another first.
Now the corners for San Jose State right now playing off 10 yards. They're giving a lot of cushion to Montgomery. 2 plays in a row. Throw it out to him. It's as good as a run. It's just a long handoff. Let him make something happen in space. You see it right there. Gets himself 10 yards.
Only a sophomore Montgomery, a little bigger, a little stronger this year, which is what you hope from players when you have a good strength program. Runs straight ahead, gets 3 with Taylor.
Now San Jose, the Spartans know this is going to happen. They're going to get ground down. So they have to play very stout on 1st down. They're eventually going to have to close that cushion down on the outside, though, and make Nunez beat them with something more than a smoke.
And now Stanford brings in some extra linemen. This is going to be a big staple of their game. And the outstanding freshman tackle Kyle Murphy has come in the game. He's on the right side. Look at this formation. Is this Stanford?
I love it.
Says the old lineman. And Taylor's going to try to run counter, and he's got a lot of space. In the foot race with the angle, San Jose State's Cullen Newsome slowed Taylor down, still didn't finish him, but prevented a touchdown, and Stephon Taylor runs it down to the 19-yard line.
Now, you don't watch big Kevin Dancer 76 come out, but pay attention to how patient Stephon Taylor was. Dancer didn't even really get the block. He was just a body in the way, kind of like, Jupiter and Saturn. But just a great job of Stephon Taylor with his patience, running this play, staying on the outside hip, getting up the field.
And you saw Matt Kasner, a tight end, also helping open that hole. 38 yards for Taylor, and he comes right back. He doesn't get a breather. He starts right away and punches that ball down to the 13. But what that previous line you saw, Glenn, was what Stanford will do. When they go to that big lineup, they'll just bring every big body they can put on the field.
Yeah, and know that we're going to run, but what we're going to do is they're saying we're going to misdirection so that we get an edge on you, and now the guys that are pulling, not only do I have tackles blocking down to set the edge, but I got guards pulling. It's tough for smaller guys in there.
There you see a fabulous red zone. The scoring percentage, 97%. Nunez in a shotgun on 2nd down. And Nunez looking, throws to the back corner for Zach Ertz, one of Stanford's bevy of tight ends they've had. Brilliant tight ends here in recent years. Zach Ertz, a local Bay Area product, just had that one go out of bounds. Interesting, I talked to Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, Glenn, because Stanford last year overall had a 55-45 balance, 55% run, 45% pass. The only time they passed more was red zone, second down.
Yeah,
and they just threw it there on second down.
Interesting, yeah.
So that's third. Taylor going to run it, and Taylor did a nice job. A little patient, found the right cut. Travis Johnson finally drops him, and let's see where that mark now might just be a little short. I thought Taylor had enough.
I think you might be right. It might be maybe half a yard short. We'll take a look at it here. Again, pull Dantzler around. He actually gets part of two different players. Again, you talk about patience for Stephen Taylor. But right there's where you need him to put that head down and go. And it looks like they're a bit short, but Stanford not afraid to go for it.
Nope, they're going on fourth down. They need maybe half a yard. Look at that tight pileup inside. 3 running backs. And that's Wright, the tailback, who got the handoff. And if he got it, he didn't get it by much. This is going to be very close. It was Remount Wright who got the carry.
Well, one thing Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator, knows, he's got a very good offensive line, and he's going to win the size battle in there. Wedge in, drive, push that pile. It's only half a yard. You feel confident you can get it.
Remount Wright from Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's a new player. He's a second-year player in the program. There's Pep Hamilton running this offense brilliantly last year as Taylor runs it off to the right side. Gets a couple. Pep Hamilton, by the way, has a title. A lot of the positions at Stanford are endowed. Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator, is officially called the Andrew Luck Director of Offense. And trust me, the quarterback did not make that endowment. An anonymous donor did this past offseason. Requested anonymity. Pep says, I have no idea who it was. Named it the Andrew Luck Director of Offense.
And Pep Hamilton flies under the radar a little bit. Coach of the year for David Shaw. Pep Hamilton came in, changed some things offensively, and was dynamic last year with his offense.
Taylor on second down. Good bounce. Well, Taylor hit a pile, and that's the gift of a running back. Lenny just kept going. Leg drive and takes that ball down inside, almost to the 1.
Pretty good example of what you talk about running behind your pads. Put your pads down, leg drive, right there, that effort, falling forward, making sure you get that yardage.
So 7 carries for Stephen Taylor and 60 yards already. And we mentioned at the outset, if he matches that number this year, he will become the all-time leading rusher in Stanford history. So now the Cardinals trying to finish the drive on 3rd and goal. And San Jose State very stout in the middle. And Stanford's going to face another 4th. That was one of those linebackers we pointed out, Keith Smith, a junior from Covina, California, that led the charge.
And what you see is their pad level is lower than Stanford's. When you get lower pad level, you win the leverage battle. I'll tell you what, very good job by San Jose State's defense in the red zone. 8th play in the red zone so far. They're making it tough on Stanford.
And San Jose State's defensive coordinator, longtime college football coach Kent Baer. There's Kent, who was the defensive coordinator here at Stanford when they went to the Rose Bowl in 1999. So the second 4th down, the 13th play of the opening drive. And it doesn't get off smoothly.
And David Shaw was trying to call timeout.
Yeah, that's right, the play clock ran out. Did we get the time? Apparently not.
Timeout, Stanford. Their first charge timeout.
Yeah, the back judge.
Yes.
Foul for delay of game. Stanford called timeout prior to the expiration of the play clock.
Yeah, the back judge can't see the side judge talking with David Shaw. So there's why the flag is thrown.
And why Mike McIntyre's not happy with that call. All right, here's Stanford. It's 2nd, 4th down. 13th play of the opening drive. Can they finish? A 3-man eye behind Josh Nunes. Lee Ward leading the way as the fullback, and Taylor gets in. So Stephen Taylor carries the ball 8 times out of the 13 plays. on the opening drive. Fitting that he finishes.
No doubt, great push. Watch the offensive line. Their pad levels down. Good drive, good pop off his feet. Hard to take down a back that big with one arm.
So Jordan Williamson, and this will be a story early in the Stanford season. Young kicker had a very good year, and it ended for him in a nightmarish fashion in the bowl game, but he kicks the extra point through. Stanford, opening drive, exactly what David Shaw wanted. 80 yards and a score.
Most of it on the ground. Controlled passing, nothing crazy down the field. Let your big guys work. Try to grind down a little bit of smaller defense. It all comes to fruition with that touchdown.
Well, also joining us this year with our team, and we're finally getting a chance to say hi to Ryan Neese, who of course played collegiately at UCLA and then for a good stint in the NFL. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys. That was a great methodical drive by Stanford. Coach Shaw's got to be very happy with the way they were able to move the ball down the field. I was very impressed with the mixture of run, pass, and I had a chance to talk to Josh Nunez earlier yesterday, and he talked about the quarterback's best friend is a run game. And if they continue to run the ball that way, guys, he's going to be very, very happy the rest of this game.
Well, David Shaw said he chose Josh Nunez in big part because he knew Nunez could do everything that the offense needed, and it made David Shaw sleep more comfortably at night. As you see, Ryan, we referenced his UCLA heritage, 7 NFL seasons, Tampa Bay, Detroit, including a Super Bowl win. I vaguely remember his dad. Right? So, and it's great. We will be with you just about every season throughout this fall on Pac-12 networks. Damon Ogburn is the deep to return this for San Jose State as Williamson kicks for Stanford. And of course, new rule in college this year, 35-yard line. And well, that was a stutter step, false start, and coming out with it, and maybe a decision he'll regret. That's Tyler Irvin, a player of real promise. San Jose State has had to decide whether to play Irvin on defense or offense. They've settled on offense to start the year. And he only gets that ball out to the 10-yard line.
And his up back is telling him not to come out, don't come out. That's why he's going to regret the decision. Not only did he look at it and know he shouldn't, but then his teammates telling him not to come out. Now you put yourself in a bind against a very stout defense.
Well, we have 2 first quarterbacks tonight. Josh Nunez making his first ever college start. First college game for David Fales, a Californian from Salinas, which is an hour plus south of where we are in Palo Alto. He went to Nevada as a freshman, turns and hands the ball off, and this is a new running back, DeLeon Eskridge. And he'll get the ball out for about a 4-yard gain as we look at our Esurance starting lineup for San Jose State. That's the offensive line. Their left tackle, David Quisenberry, is a player San Jose State feels is going to get some pro interest.
I think as well, and he's got a background. He's a surfer, so he's got that balance. He's got that athletic ability.
And they've got veteran receivers. Noel Grigsby had a huge year last year, and Stanford people very high on San Jose State's tight end, Ryan Otten. There's a quick slant that Chandler Jones can't catch. The top 4 San Jose State receivers from last year are all back. As we look at the Stanford D.
Ben Gardner there, very good stout at the point of attack. And when you look at their linebackers, all 4 of these guys are studs. Chase Thomas, though, is that bell cow that everybody has to look for.
And the secondary, they had to replace a couple of big players, Lano Howell and Michael Thomas, and that's where the safeties, Reynolds and Richards, will be big. David Shaw saying Reynolds was phenomenal during fall camp. So now San Jose State on 3rd out of a shotgun. Swings it out to Eskridge, and he's dropped right there by Barry Browning.
So when you take a look, if you're a San Jose State fan, you look, all right, we had a return that only got us to the 10. We had a decent, an okay first down run. We have a drop slant that puts us behind the 8 ball. Now we're stuck. It's too easy for Stanford to play on defense. You're punting from your end zone, and you're going to give them great field position. That's how field position games are won.
And it's how, I'm assuming in this case, how defenses become miserable because they just were on the field for 13 plays. Offense goes 3 and out. And the D's going to run right back out there. Harrison Wade gets the punt away. Drew Terrell going to field it at the 50, and he takes a pretty good pop. Spun off and he goes down, but still brilliant field position for Stanford. Net 40 on the kick for San Jose State. And so Stanford will come out for its second possession. The Cardinals started the year with a touchdown drive, 7-0.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time now for your Polaris keys to the game. For San Jose State, they have to stop the run, something they weren't able to. But after that, if you can do that, get after that quarterback. Stanford, all they have to do, just run the ball and lean on that defense. Let the defense give you field position, run the ball, and don't expect too much of your newly anointed quarterback. Polaris keys to the game.
Josh Nunes now starting his second possession at the 50-yard line. And he's going to go back. Running backs go out in the pattern. Nunes out to the right. Going to be stopped just short. Good tackle. San Jose State allowing the catch, but stopping Montgomery at that point for an 8-yard gain.
And again, we talk about first down. Look at the cushion given outside. Now, I know they're probably expecting first down run, but they will take advantage of that cushion, whether it be smoke or design pass like that. First down being on schedule is huge for Stanford. Here they sit with a 2nd and 2. That's why their third down conversion rate is so high.
It's Ben Wickery that was giving Montgomery that cushion on the corner. Now on second down, they can run Anthony Wilkerson. First down plus. And right now, this first quarter is playing right into Stanford's hands. They're just able to hit just enough passes, Glenn, so they can do this chunks on the ground.
Yeah, G blocking scheme on the outside. That's tackle down, guard around, get a big body in space, but instead of a counter, it's toward the edge. You take a look right on the corner. Look at that, man. You got to love when your wide receivers are out there blocking. Drew Terrell getting his hands inside, popping a little bit.
Wilkerson the back up to Taylor, got 10 yards rather on that play. Now gets a carry and gets stopped right in his spot. Anthony Larseval off the D line for San Jose State, and then a San Jose product, Derek Muava, linebacker.
And Muava does a good job coming in, and that forces the ball back in. Remember, running backs don't like to see color. They see color, they avoid it. He sees that white jersey out there, man, he's moving in.
All right, blocking isn't just those big bodies, Ryan.
For Coach Pep was telling his players, when you don't have the ball, when you're not catching the ball wide receiver, we need you to block in the run game. That's how we can spring big plays.
And now they spread the field here. Nunes goes empty and gets another one out, just getting the ball to Montgomery's hands. And out of bounds, he's pushed by Ronnie Yell with a flag down. Now, Ryan, your defensive back, are you seeing too much cushion they're giving Montgomery?
Blocks to make sure that they're trying to stop the run. When they do that, it puts a lot of pressures on their corners to be able to step up and tackle in open space.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 25. Penalty will be enforced from the end of the play, automatic first down.
So Ronnie Yell got his hand in a bad spot here.
Yeah, trying to, it's hard to get when they're pushing you in the face, you tend to grab out yourself with that reach and grab some. Tell you what, though, Stanford is setting up down the way. Maybe not this drive, but certainly in the coming drives with that same smoke. They're actually setting out a corner route to David Terrell. Drew Terrell, excuse me.
Yeah, she's right here.
And Terrell's right out there by himself on the right. Instead, they hand the ball off, and Taylor runs it in tight and gets jammed up for a short gain. Looking at Mike McIntyre on the San Jose State sideline, and last week I went to a practice there, Glenn, and he said, the tough part for this is the best team that we will face all year, and we get them in the first game. And so now the first quarter of the first game, this is exactly what, it's an obvious thing that Mike McIntyre can't afford to have happen.
And it's got to be a delicate balancing act for a coach to know that that's the toughest you're going to face, and you can't let your team get down for the rest of the year.
Nunes pumping now, he throws that corner ball, beautiful throw to Drew Terrell for the touchdown. Baptism for Josh Nunes.
Nice ball by Josh Nunes as well. Well, you see, this is just, it's a stop and fade, so it's not a back corner fade. He actually stops like he's running the whip and takes off for the corner. Nice ball by Nunes.
Well, that's going to make everybody feel good. Drew Terrell caught just 8 balls last year, but he's going to have a more prominent role this season. Nunes gets the touchdown pass. Williamson adds the point. So Stanford drove the field on its first possession. Second one, defense set them up starting from the 50. And they finish on this gorgeous throw from Nunes to Terrell.
That was a big-time throw by Josh Nunes in the back of the corner to get Stanford's second score of the game. I'm with someone that knows a lot about scoring, Glenn and Ted, Olympian Maggie Steffens. Welcome. I really appreciate you being out here. Obviously, an Olympian with the U.S. women's water polo team. You won a gold medal. You led the Olympics in scoring. What was it like over there?
It was amazing. I've dreamed of being an Olympian ever since I was little, and to be able to represent the USA and have USA written on your back and in your front and on my cap was an amazing, amazing feeling.
Not only did you lead the Olympics in scoring, but you also won the MVP. What did that mean to you?
I think, you know, going into the Olympics, it was really important to me to just have fun and be myself, and our team played awesome. I watched a game back the other day and I got chills just looking at us and seeing the connection that we had, and, you know, being named MVP was just icing on the cake, but to know that I got to play with those players was a humbling experience for me.
Now you're an incoming freshman to Stanford. How exciting is that, and why did you choose Stanford?
I can't wait. I love Stanford. Everybody I know, they know how much I love Stanford, and you know, the opportunity to just be here and be amongst the best in sports and in academics as well is probably the best opportunity I could get.
Well, Maggie, thank you very much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Ryan, great story. Maggie Steffens and her sister was also part of that team. As the ball is moved out because of the new rules this year in college football, the kickoff has been moved to the 35, mimicking the NFL rule, but the touchback is different. The kickoff from the 35, same spot, but the touchback in the college game comes to the 25. So refresher for everybody on the field as David Fales play fakes, drops, now throws one, and it's caught for a first down for San Jose State. Ryan Otten, that's their very talented tight end.
And right off the bat, you see really good protection by the San Jose State offensive line. They're going up against big timers. They do a great job running people around, doing what you have to do. You saw John Meyer right there. And that allows Fales plenty of time to look down the field and find his window to throw into.
All right, so here's San Jose State showing a little bit of a pistol setup. It's what Fales originally went to Nevada playing. Tyler Irvin takes the pitch, and Stanford smothers the play. Fales went to Nevada, where he back as a freshman. Colin Kaepernick was executing the pistol offense beautifully there. Left after a year, went to junior college in Monterey, California. After 1 year there, Wyoming offered him a scholarship. He turned it down. He stayed for a second year at Monterey Peninsula, and then chose San Jose State.
And a wise decision to stay. I think kids they lose patience and they want to go. You know, he had a scholarship offer, but wise decision. Play that extra year, go where you want to go, where you think the best fit is.
Out of the shotgun, throws a ball to the near side, and that's completed to Kyle Nunn, junior receiver from Southern California. It's going to give San Jose State a manageable third down. They left 3rd and 4.
I'll tell you, the impressive, nice throw, nice catch, but the impressive part was big Trent Murphy. 6'6", 261 pounds, coming from his outside linebacker spot and just driving a nail through the receiver.
Murphy, a big player. Murphy decided to come back and play another year at Stanford. He was considering going to the draft after last year. Now 3rd down and 4. This is where Stanford's defense was brilliant last year. They were so strong as Quisenberry, the left tackle for San Jose State, appeared to move.
I'll start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And if you see it, they get the slot is who they're going after, Peter Tuipulotu. Not the tackle. It's not an offensive lineman's fault.
You please nudge me when it is, okay? I think I'm betting my over-under with use November 14th for the first time. So now a much longer 3rd. Facing Fales and the Spartans, they need 9. Stanford brings 4. Fales escapes. And a nice throw, and that's going to be a first down on a terrific move after the catch by Peter Tuipulotu.
got his 5 yards back. Now you see Stanford's able to get pressure with 4. That is in itself is good, but a good job by Fales running outside, cutting the field in half. So now he's only got 1 read out there, and a good job finding the receiver, and a heck of a catch by Kuzuka.
There's A.J. Tarpley, linebacker, who's replacing a missing significant man in Shane Scove. That was on the cover. Eskridge gets the carry here, and he's wrapped up, and there's Tarpley on the hit. Now that's a big story for Stanford tonight. Shane Scove, just a brilliant inside linebacker, missed all of last year with injury. He's back, he's healthy, but he also had a DUI in the offseason, and David Shaw suspended him, Scove, for this game. Tarpley is starting tonight. Scove will be back, and he'll play next week for Stanford here against Duke.
Scove, a dynamic player, one of the better linebackers in the Pac-12 last year before he got hurt down against Arizona. And he came back and is ready to go, but as you said, the DUI cost him a game.
And we'll talk about that guy you just saw in a second after this second down play for San Jose State. Quick slant there, ball popped in the air and incomplete. Good stick, though, on the part of Jordan Richards. The safeties we talked about for Stanford seem to fill in for some experienced guys. Richards feels it a little bit after the hit. The other guy in the defense, the other inside linebacker, is a player that you rarely hear this mentioned. James Vaughters, second-year linebacker. He's from the Atlanta area, Stone Mountain, Georgia, about 250. David Shaw flat out this week just said that he has to play. You don't hear coaches say that too often about guys.
No,
he has to be on the field.
That means that he can play run, he can play the pass, and he's a leader.
Third down, Fales, throws an underneath ball, and Stanford smothers it. So good defense there by the Cardinal. They gave him the catch, but not the first down. Kyle Nunn. And there's Mr. Vaughters, who's about 250, maybe a few pounds over 250, but it's just, they talk about him in these exceptional terms. You can't believe a guy that size can move the way he does.
Well, that very tackle right there, it looked like he might have missed the tackle. All of a sudden he wrapped up, took him down, and that was a steer wrestling move. Just took him right to the ground.
So Harrison Wade out to punt for the second time for San Jose State. Drew Terrell back for Stanford. Wade hits this one end over end, and Terrell just takes the safe fair catch. This time field position will swing back the other way. Stanford will start backed up inside their 15. Well, last year Andrew Luck got going here against San Jose State. The Cardinals were 7th in the country, and it was Luck hitting Zach Ertz for an early score. Later on, Brett Nottingham was the backup. He found Kobe Fleener, another one of the studs that left Stanford as a high draft pick. And Stanford walloped San Jose State last year. And this nearly annual game, they play almost every year, these two teams. The majority of the games are here. There's great history between the schools. They're about 15, 17 miles apart. San Jose State's last win was at Spartan Stadium in San Jose. Dick Tomey was coaching.
My college football coach,
yes,
Dick
he
Tomey.
was. And now Stanford running Anthony Wilkerson there. Running their little version of a wildcat. Direct snap to Wilkerson. And he runs the ball out to the 19-yard line.
And again, you know, when you watch Stanford, it seems almost boring, pedestrian. Here's a run. It's good for 7 yards. Boom, you're looking at 2nd and 3. They're ahead of the chains.
A lot of schools would like to be this boring.
Yeah, exactly.
2 straight BCS bowls, and expectations high again, even though Stanford had some very fine players move on to the pros. First quarter tonight, all Cardinal, 14-0 on the Pac-12 networks. Pac-12 football is brought to you by MFS Investment Management. And by Chase Sapphire Preferred. Get 2 times the points on travel and dining with Chase Sapphire Preferred. Conference of Champions. You just heard a little bit about it. Ryan talking to an Olympic medalist. 45 Olympic medals won by athletes from the Pac-12 Conference. Just a few weeks ago in London as we start the second quarter with Glenn Parker, Ryan Neese, and our Pac-12 Network's crew, Ted Robinson at Stanford Stadium. Stanford will play its first 3 games of the season here. Duke next Saturday, and then, as you see the first quarter, lopsided numbers, a massive early season conference game 2 weeks from tomorrow here when USC visits.
They've got that game, and that can set the stage for the rest of the year. But not only that, then they have a northern opponent at Washington the next week. Very, very tough for Stanford.
So third down here now. San Jose State would love to get a 3 and out. Nunes back. And that ball batted up in the air, and it's going to fall to the ground incomplete. So deflection by Travis Ricidi. Here he is on the D line for San Jose State. And that's going to bring up a rarity. 3 and out.
And you see, if you can't get there, you're trained, put your hands up, picket fence. Now, defensive line coach for San Jose State, Jim Jeffcoat, an ex-teammate of mine at the Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboy, quite the player. He'll tell you, in the NFL, you don't always get there, but you got to get your hands up. That's well-coached defensive line play for San Jose State.
And so San Jose State will get the ball back here and should get some decent field position. Ronnie Yell back to receive this punt, but we get actually a delay. Play clock ran out.
5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Now what I'm saying, what's so jarring about what we just saw? Last year, 13 games Stanford played. The number of 3 and outs they had for the entire season in those 13 games, 15.
Well, only 14 to go.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
It really is, and it shows how good they were, not only at winning first downs, but staying ahead of schedule.
Zaglinski with the punt, and Ronnie Yell takes the fair catch. That's not bad by Stanford. That is a net 40. Does a nice job. 37-yard line as kickoff weekend continues on the Pac-12 networks. Tomorrow here in the Bay Area, Cal reopens Memorial Stadium. It's been refurbished. It's beautiful. Nevada, the opponent. That's at noon. And then tomorrow night, from downtown Seattle, Washington will host San Diego State here on the Pac-12 networks. Cal was displaced last year while they redid Berkeley. Washington, UW's out this year. They're playing downtown while Husky Stadium is refurbished. And that's all great signs, by the way, for the conference. Those are 2 great venues that should be maintained. They're just being modernized. There's David Fales back for San Jose State, trying a deep ball, and that is juggled and dropped. Should have been a touchdown. Jabari Carr.
That's the stuff of nightmares if you're a San Jose State player or fan.
I think that fan agreed with what we just said. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and you see, it's just a skinny post. I've got speed, you don't. He finds himself open, fails a very nice strike. San Jose State all excited, but unfortunately you got to follow the play, finish the process.
And obviously the ones you can't miss when you're trying to beat a team that's going to be one of the best in its league. And there's an interesting play there by San Jose State. Ryan Lindblom, their offensive coordinator this year, they throw the ball right back to the same guy. Get it in his hands.
Yeah, I like it. And we saw that actually earlier with Tui Topo. He jumped off sides or went in motion. They came right back to him. He got the first. Give your kids confidence.
San Jose State, as you look at Brian Lindgren there, you get that. I apologize to Brian Lindgren's first year as the offensive coordinator. Their stint in Northern Arizona. Goes right back to work. Fails with a nice ball. Stanford went for the pick there. And eventually, as the ball stripped, it was Ed Reynolds that went for the pick, didn't get it. The ball caught by Ryan Otten. And let's see how they rule this.
And you see, again, picking on that same part of the defense. You're right, Reynolds misses the interception, and he'll definitely be down. I don't believe that ball was coming out before he hit the ground.
All right, well, it's obviously, you see, if it's ruled a fumble, Waters of Stanford recovered. And the ruling on the field, no. His receiver down. And now San Jose State trying to hurry up. This is something that's a 20-yard gain, by the way, on the throw from Fales to Otten.
And what you're seeing, the last few throws, the Spartans are looking to attack middle of the field. Get towards the Stanford safeties.
So David Fales now goes under center, going to run an end-around handoff, getting Grigsby the ball out in space. Excuse me, Chandler Jones. It's Chandler Jones in space, and he runs it down and gets it inside the 25 of Stanford.
And you gotta like San Jose State right now. The Spartans coming out there opening their playbook a little bit. They've run a couple seams, now a little reverse.
And you know what they're doing is you notice they're going no huddle. Fales is going to the line.
They know they have a speed advantage in certain positions. They're trying to exploit that, particularly, as you said, by going no huddle, tiring out that Stanford D, which is stout, but maybe they feel that they can attack them with the speed.
And the pistol here, which we've seen a couple of times. Eskridge is the deep back. Fales going to fake to him, then throws it out, but boy, that play is smothered by Terrence Brown, returning Stanford cornerback. And that play goes for a loss of yardage. It's a minus play. Funny, Mike McIntyre asked him, it's a typical question when he chose his quarterback, when he chose David Fales, is command of the huddle matter? You know, Mike said actually not as much as you think anymore, because a lot of the game now is not played in the huddle. It's command of, Mike said, it's command of the offense more than command of the huddle.
Absolutely, and the mechanics of the game, from the play clock to the snap to every part of it.
Fales actually, that's Blake Jurich, the backup quarterback, is in. Blake Jurich, second team for San Jose State. He kept that ball and dashed straight ahead and got it inside the 20. Jurich is a 6'4" sophomore from Santa Cruz, California.
Little option read, paying attention to the backside tackle or end, sees that he doesn't crash and just keeps the ball and gets himself some yardage.
So Mike McIntyre's going right away to his second quarterback, Jurich. He had just a brief stint on the field last year. Going shotgun on third down. And eventually a timeout. That came right off the San Jose State sideline. So the Spartans hoping to get some points here. They'll have a chance now to decide on their third down play. Well, at Stanford Stadium, San Jose State trying to get convert its biggest play so far of this night. 3rd and 5 at the Stanford 19. Stanford's front 7 on defense, which was brilliant a year ago, is expected to be a strength again this year. This is what they did last year. Stanford was fabulous at getting off the field on things.
They had a stout core of linebackers, and that always helps.
Jurich, and that ball's all over the place, and I believe Jurich recovered himself, which will save a field goal try for San Jose State. Trent Murphy was in there disrupting for Stanford.
I think 3 people had possession without the ball hitting the ground. That was the strangest thing. You got a zone read, so he loses the ball on the zone read. You take a look right there. They both want it. It pops up. Then Gardner's got it, and he thinks he's got it, but no, he loses it. And there's another Stanford player right in there. You can see him. A.J. Tarpley had it for a second before Jurich comes up with it.
It never hit the ground. All right, well, here's another baptism. You've got a freshman kicker for San Jose State, a freshman snapper, and a redshirt freshman holder. Austin Lopez, first college kick is on the way, and he nails it. And that's something I talked to Mike McIntyre about that as well. That's something to go into a season in Division I football. And that's a walk-on, by the way, who's holding, and a walk-on who's snapping. Lopez is a scholarship kicker. And San Jose State's got some points. So it's 14-3 Stanford. A little change on the Stanford campus at the start of this football season as we go back down to Ryan on the sideline.
San Jose State puts 3 points on the board. Exciting. Now the game's starting to get really interesting, but I'm here with new athletic director Bernard Muir. I appreciate you being here. Explain to me the transition and how the transition's been from Delaware out here to Stanford.
Well, it's been a wonderful 3 weeks for me. It's been a whirlwind, but I'm so excited. I mean, just to be around our young people, a great group of student athletes, great group of coaches, but it's been a wonderful welcoming, and I'm just thrilled to now serve Stanford.
Now, with the launch of the new Pac-12 network, what does that mean to the university and your student athletes?
Well, it provides great exposure, especially in our Olympic sport programs, but across the board. So many Stanford fans, Pac-12 fans now can see everything that's going on across the country, and we're just so excited. I commend Commissioner Scott and his staff and his team, they've done a phenomenal job, and we're now relevant, and truly it should be exciting times ahead.
Now, I saw you on the sideline getting excited over here, watching this last play as that ball was rolling around on the side, on the field. Tell me about this level of excitement you have being a part of big-time football once again.
Well, I'm thrilled to be passionate about the program that I represent. Certainly seeing the young people at practice. This game's getting closer as we go along here, but this is what it's all about. And truly to have this opportunity to work with young people and let them do their thing on this platform is tremendous, and this is why we do what we do.
Now, in your short time here, you've had the chance to obviously meet with Coach Shaw. Tell us something interesting and intriguing about him.
Well, he's just truly a unique talent. Being around our young people and watching him interact with them, you just know that he has their utmost concern at heart, and from there you just know that good things are to happen, and they really are really excited to be playing for him, and that shows.
Bernard, we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Back up to you guys.
All right, Ryan. Stanford, after the kick return, starts from the 15-yard line. And a handoff here to Taylor. And Taylor's going to burst that one out, and still driving, and it takes extra Spartans to finally drop him. Keith Smith makes the tackle, but Taylor pushing that out almost to the 30-yard line.
How about Stanford? They come right out. They bring in 2 extra offensive linemen, Joshua Garnett and Kyle Murphy. They run the power right at you with 1 pull and say, our big back is going to be patient, follow his fullback right there. I like it. We're just going to pound you. We're going to get some yardage. That's how you take the stuffing out of a team starting to come back at you.
First down now, just shy of the 29 for Stanford. And Nunes out of the eye. They run a little misdirect and flip it back on a reverse. Again, trying to get speed on the edges. That's Jamal Rashad Patterson, junior receiver, and Patterson runs it out just across the 40-yard line. That'll be another Stanford first down.
They show you a little something here. They want the rest of the teams in the Pac-12 to see they can do this type of thing. What you're going to see here, though, with Patterson, the ball carrier, he's not used to being a ball carrier in space with blockers. He's used to being down the field. He loses a little bit of patience, and rather than setting up the block by Schwartzstein down the field, he cuts back inside and loses himself. Doesn't quite get as many yards as he could have.
And I'm glad you pointed that out, offensive lineman. Talk about that after this play. First down. And Nunes throws a ball low, but that's going to be incomplete. Skipped into Drew Terrell. Now, Stanford had 2 brilliant offensive linemen. David DeCastro, a guard that was chosen first round in the NFL draft. Jonathan Martin, left tackle, second round. This is the anchor. This is the one experienced guy back on their offensive line, the center Sam Schwartzstein. They talk about how he has mentored these brilliant young linemen. They had a fabulous recruiting class here at O-line.
Yeah, they really did. And Andrus Peat and Kyle Murphy, 2 highly rated tackles, come in. But when you have a guy like that, particularly in the center of your offensive line, and he's a captain, he can kind of calm things down in there with the young guys, because there's a lot going on in a very short space of time.
He's a guy that talked to David DeCastro when Castro suffered a tough injury last weekend in an NFL preseason game. There's a pass to Ertz. It's going to be just shy of a first down. Jimmy Pruitt stopped for San Jose State. And when all this, I think, points out back to the chat Ryan just had with Bernard Bureau, who's a great pedigree, being the athletic director of both Georgetown and Delaware before coming here, is the credit that Bob Bowlesby deserves. Bob has moved on to Big 12, but when Bob Bowlesby came here as athletic director, his first year here, Stanford won 1 football game. See the tight third down, plow straight ahead. Wilkerson gets the first, and Bob Bowlesby made a coaching change after that season. It was the first year, by the way, of this new stadium. They won 1 game. He hired Jim Harbaugh, and hence an incredible birth of Stanford football that Jim Harbaugh and staff built, and now David Shaw is even building upon that.
And understand, when he found Harbaugh, football people knew. They had paid attention to what Jim Harbaugh had done at the University of San Diego, but fans had never heard of the Toreros before.
That's right. Some basketball, hardcore basketball fans knew. You're right. Play fake. And Nunes throws a ball high, and there's a flag down on the cover. Ertz looked to be the intended receiver, Zach Ertz, at the 30-yard line.
Nunes probably shouldn't throw this ball. There's too much coverage down there. And that's a ball that in film session Coach Shaw and Pep Hamilton, they're going to, let's just take what's given. It's first down. We don't have anything. Throw the ball away. We'll live to fight another day. When you're playing
defense, number 39.
When you're playing,
first down.
This is called a bailout flag.
Yes, it is. When you're playing the better teams, you can't get away with it. Now he's going to take a shot there. Probably not a good shot. But you look at this, he's draped over him a bit. Ertz has got a player on his back. But that ball sails on Nunes a little bit, number one.
I was waiting for Ryan Neese to chime in on this.
I have to disagree with that last call. As a defensive player, that was an uncatchable ball. I thought the defensive player made a nice play there.
Cullen Newsome, the defender, they got called for that. Now Nunes bobbles the snap. Well, this is, again, precisely was at the forefront of the list why David Shaw said he chose Josh Nunes, was eliminating mistakes. They call them minus plays.
When you're in your first game, and it's the very first game of the season, you're going to have mechanical issues. Quarterback-center exchange, always trouble in a game where you get some nerves going. Now, you wouldn't think it would happen with Nunes and a very veteran offensive center in Sham Schwartzstein, but it still happens. That's why you have these games.
So now Stanford going to empty out here. So 5 receivers, 3 left and 2 right for Nunes on a long second. And before any of that can take place, San Jose State on defense going to take a timeout. And what let's see what Mike McIntyre and Kent Baer, his coordinator, come up with during this timeout. 7:17 first half here at Stanford Stadium. And let's look at our Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frosted Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer.
Stop it there. Oh, that's going to be a nice catch, possibly a touchdown. Oh, no, it's not.
Look at the sideline behind in the background. Look at them all.
Very excited, not so excited. Tough one. When you're trying to beat a Stanford, you need every play to count.
Now Stanford comes out, throws a quick bubble screen to Kelsey Young. Second-year freshman from Southern California. San Jose State defends that nicely. Short gain, and now Stanford will have a long third ahead. Stanford, David Shaw, they were going to continue exactly what they did here the last couple of years with Andrew Luck, which was give the quarterback multiple plays. The quarterback calls multiple plays in the huddle here at Stanford. They get to the line, and the quarterback makes the decision.
That's right. He'll come up. He'll see the defense. Are they single safety, two safety, zone, man, whatever. Figure that out. What plays best, call it up and go.
And shotgun with an empty. Trying to throw a quick inside screen there to Taylor. And that's wrapped up nicely by San Jose State. It's been Wickery out of the secondary.
And you see the effect of timing. The ball's a little low, causes them to stoop. Now all of a sudden your wide receiver can't hold that block, that one extra count, and you get tackled for a loss as opposed to having a gain.
And that also means Stanford will punt it. David Shaw was that he thought Jordan Williamson was about 50 as a range. He said, now, if it's a game winner, it's a different story. This would be about 53, so instead, David Shaw will punt. And Zaglinski hits that rugby kick, dropping the nose of the football, popping it up end over end. Nicely done. Fair catch taken inside the 10 by San Jose State. Well, of course, the Pac-12 networks are your home for all Pac-12 sports. This conference of champions littered with brilliant teams and athletes. And next Friday, here on Pac-12 networks, the Cardinal women's field hockey team will take on Iowa in the day. Then at night, women's soccer with number 4 Stanford hosting Boston University. That's all next Friday right here on Pac-12 networks.
How exciting is that? Get to watch field hockey if you're a fan. Get to watch a little women's soccer, which, well, I'm a fan of.
Say you're a fan. My wife was a field hockey player back pre-Title IX. She's really going to be mad at me for
saying she is. She's going to
she really
gonna let you have it there.
And here's a handoff now on the first down. Eskridge getting the carry. This is a guy that San Jose State has big hopes for, is Eskridge. As the running back, he's only got 1 year to play. But Eskridge is from the Bay Area, from San Francisco, and he went to Minnesota. He ran for over 1,600 yards in his career at Minnesota, but his parents saw him play one game in 3 years, so he decided to come back and play his final year of college closer to home. David Fales back in as the quarterback. And there's a nice throw on the slant to Jabari Carr, and that is going to be, let's see where they marked. It looks like a first down mark for the Spartans.
Well, the Spartans did a nice job. The very first time they got the ball, they were on the 10 and they had to punt. They didn't do well. But since then, they really haven't had great field position, but they have managed to change field position. They start on the 8, now they're out to the 19 with a first down. They can put a little bit together. At least they're changing field position and their defense is playing better. They're trying to get themselves back to even in this game.
Yeah, trying to get a little rhythm. That's now 5 first downs on offense for San Jose State, 12 tonight for Stanford. David Fales back in the game. Now throws a quick screen out here just to get some yardage. They move it out to the 25-yard line. That's the first touch for Noel Grigsby. Grigsby caught 89 passes last year for San Jose State. Had 8 catches against Stanford.
Well, if you're a Spartan fan, what you like, hey, we just get it out there. It's as good as a run, little hitch. Got yourself some yards. Now you're looking at 2nd and 4. You feel good about your chances of moving the chains now with 2 more plays, as opposed to being 2nd and 9 the way they were early in the game.
McIntyre has to be a little calmer about the way the second quarter has gone. Fales scrambles and then finds his man. He finds Grigsby. Good move there. Just enough slide by Fales to find a little space against that Stanford defense, Ryan.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed is the amount of man-to-man coverage that the Stanford Cardinals are playing. I talked to Derek Mason, defensive coordinator, yesterday, and he said, hey, we play more man-to-man than anybody in the conference, which means the corners have to come up and rally, especially on these quick slants, these quick plays that the Spartans seem to be very effective against right now.
Inside give to Eskridge. Short gain. So, Ryan, that leads to an interesting question, Ryan and Glenn both. All right, if there's any spot to attack on Stanford's defense, it would appear to be secondary. We mentioned 2 new safeties this year. And in 2 weeks' time, they get Matt Barkley and Marquise Lee coming in here. Robert Woods.
And don't think that those coordinators aren't watching this film and seeing where they see they can make a little hay. They're going to be playing a lot of man. You've got some great wide receivers, and now you don't wonder, well, with my tight ends, what can I do against your safeties down the seam? That's where I would look for some weaknesses for Stanford.
Well, Fales held the ball and he took the hit. He saw it coming, but he held the ball, and eventually it was Brent Seals that came in.
And you take a look, just coming off the edge. This is Fales' hot throw. He's got, now of course, your tackle out there, John Meyer, on a slide's got to get out to him. Doesn't do it. Fales sees it, holds on, does the smart thing, eats the ball, doesn't try to just throw it out.
Now the Stanford crowd trying to rally on its defense here. They want that ball back. They can get a 3rd stop here, 3rd and 14.
I gave you an offensive lineman doing the wrong thing there. I got nothing for it, Ted.
Let's see, the play clock did run out. That's going to back up San Jose State 5. Occasionally, I do get rendered speechless, Glenn. Not a good thing in my business. So it'll be 3rd and 19 here for San Jose State. The first quarter had a little bit of that bad vibe if you're on the San Jose State side. Like this could be a blowout. They've righted the ship a little bit in the second quarter.
They have, but so far behind the sticks now.
And Fales finally was waiting for Eskridge to slip out of the backfield. That'll get some yards, but well short of the first down.
What it allows them to do is flip the field now. Allows them to get a punt off and make Stanford have to grind and eat in a minute 34, as opposed to being able to do what they want to do.
So I believe this was a called timeout. Yes. So Stanford took a timeout. David Shaw taking that timeout to save probably 30 seconds to 35 seconds of game time. So we'll come back. San Jose State will punt. Stanford will see if Josh Nunes can execute a 90-second drive. This is the seventh football season for this stadium. But football has been played on this field, the same grass field, since 1921. When they, after the 2005 season here at Stanford, they took down the old stadium that once hosted a Super Bowl. Look that up, Google it, folks. And they rebuilt the new stadium. But the field is the same, and one of those great Stanford traditions you saw as a walk. Players walk from their locker room through tailgates to get here to the stadium. Terrell going to try to run this back. Hemmed in, and somehow he got out of that. Well, that one, a real plus for Drew Terrell. And San Jose State special teams won't like that because they had a lot of white shirts around Terrell, and he somehow turned this into a 17-yard return.
Yeah, one missed tackle, he goes north and south. That's all. The key to punt return is you must go north and south, no side to side, get positive yards, and of course gets himself a lot of positive yards.
All right, Dr. Pepper halftime report. Mike Yam, Rick Neuheisel, Curtis Conway in our Pac-12 studios. Boise State, Michigan State showdown. Tomorrow's Pac-12 schools in action, and of course all the numbers and highlights from tonight. It's all coming up in the Dr. Pepper halftime report. This ball pushed all the way out close to the 40-yard line. Stanford has one timeout to work with. They feel fairly confident they've got enough time here to operate. As Stefan Taylor.
Number 53's helmet came off. By rule, he must leave the game for one play.
Vincent Abbott, senior linebacker, out for that snap. Second down to Nunes. And the out is caught by Terrell.
Of course, college football, it's going to stop the clock with the first down, they get it rolling.
So once again, that player sent off. If you lose your helmet now during a play, you have to sit out the next play. That's why Abbott was sent off the field. As the pass goes to Taylor out of bounds, and of course that's given all the concern today in football. And I've heard this a lot, Glenn. You as a former player, even Ryan as a former player, players that tend to deflate the inside of the helmet, they fit looser.
Yeah.
As a result, they come off more easily.
Absolutely, yeah. Because if it's too tight, it actually, you feel like every hit hurts, as opposed to letting it slide a little on your head.
Well, there's a nice catch. Nunes threw that ball inside and allowed Ertz to get out there with those hands and spirit.
So far, nice job by Nunes moving the chains. You take a look right here. Great job grabbing that ball by Ertz.
All right, now Nunes executing this calmly, finds Ertz again. And of course, Stanford has been known as quarterback U for a long time, but with Jim Harbaugh started here, and with David Shaw's continuing, this may become tight end tech. You want to be a tight end, you come play here.
You might just call it big man here. With offensive linemen, tight ends, they're outside linebackers. They've just found a way to get big, stout players that have speed.
They lost to Fleener, who went to Indianapolis last year with Luck, and they still have Ertz and Levine Toilolo. We haven't seen him yet at 6'8".
Yeah, we've seen him blocking. We haven't seen him in the passing game, that's for sure, and he is such a target.
And then ask Pep Hamilton, okay, so who's your third tight end? He goes, come on, you know how Stanford plays football. We run tackles out there.
Not afraid to put 2 extra tackles on the field.
So now big third down. Again, this is borderline field goal range. So they're going to run Taylor, but San Jose State sturdy. It's Keith Smith again, who's made a couple of nice plays in this first half of the Spartans. And that's going to leave 4th down, and for David Shaw, a decision. It's a long field goal, just inside of 50. It's also 4th down and about 4.
Interesting what they decided to do here.
Going to kick, apparently lets it go down to the last 2 seconds and takes his time out. Well, one of the themes of this first half for Stanford has been about moving on, following terrific players. David Shaw has recruited both quantity and quality, so he's prepared to replace those who moved on.
We have a scheme that we believe in. We've recruited players to fit in that scheme. Every year, every team is different. Every year you lose somebody, you lose multiple guys. Guys graduate, guys leave for the NFL, and we reload. And that's the mode that we're in right now. And those guys that were here before did a great job before us, just like the guys before them, just like the guys before them, the Toby Gerhardts and all those guys. And When we lose great players, great. It's an opportunity for other guys to step up and play, and that's where we are right now.
What's happened here with Jim Harbaugh and now David Shaw, that's never really happened at Stanford. They've, in their history, never been able to sustain success over a period of years. Jordan Williamson trying this long field goal, and it is good easily from 46. David Shaw said yesterday, he said to me, Williamson could go 55 if we have to. He said 50 is probably where we'll settle. And he showed you 55 plus on that leg.
Easily 55 plus.
17-3 Stanford. Ryan?
Thanks, Ted. You're up 17-3, Coach. Are you happy with your first half performance?
Not at all. Not at all. I think we had 2 drives that stalled because of our error. And errors for us are unacceptable right now. The drives that we scored on, we operated at a high level. I think Josh is playing extremely well. We missed a couple of blocks. We missed a couple of passes. I thought we could have got our hands on a couple of bad routes, sloppy routes, but we're good right now, but we got to play much better in the second half.
You talk about errors. Are those errors correctable at halftime?
Absolutely. No question about it.
Excellent. Best of luck the rest of the way. Back to the studio.
All right, Ryan. Nunes 12 of 16. I think David Shaw is on his way to correct those mistakes right now. Could you tell that by the look on his face?
He was strutting, and he was walking with a purpose.
Well, that drop was a big factor for San Jose State. Dr. Pepper halftime report coming up on the Pac-12 networks. We heard how David Shaw felt the first half went from the Stanford side. Now let's find out what Mike McIntyre thought as we go back down to Ryan.
Coach McIntyre, Stanford got off to a quick start in the first quarter, but you guys seem to really settle in the second quarter. Are you happy with first half performance?
No, we're down 17-3, and they got in on that 4th down play, and we screwed up a substitution on the 2-minute drive that let them get started. So, no, I'm not pleased with what we're doing. And if we just catch the football, we're going to score some points. And I challenged our receivers because we can score points, and we should have already scored 10 more points.
Well, there's it's amazing, Glenn, what one mistake, and when a mistake is glaring like the dropped pass by Jabari Carr, imagine what David Fales' numbers would look like, how he might feel at halftime if that does become a 6-point play.
Yeah, confidence is one thing, but then also the resulting plays after a play like that, it changes the outlook of a game. So it's hard to say what would have happened, but you get that feeling that they will miss those points dearly, number one, and you're right, it's how the numbers would look.
So Williamson to kick for Stanford, second half underway. This will be Tyler Irvin from the 1-yard line. And Stanford stands him up. Good cover there by Devin Carrington. Played a lot last year in the secondary for Stanford. That'll be the 22-yard line where San Jose State will start. San Jose State playing its final season in what will be the final season of the WAC. There will be 7 schools. That's all that are playing football in the WAC this year. Next year, San Jose State goes to the Mountain West, which next year is actually going to look like the old WAC. Yeah,
and a storied conference, right here in the Pac-12. Utah used to be in the WAC. Arizona State used to be in the WAC.
So David Fales back in. Lee Aina is the running back. And Lee Aina gets the handoff on first down. A nice little hole out there for a 5-yard gain. Carrington up from the secondary to make the tackle. So that's what San Jose State, they played the old PCAA, and as you see, they've sort of bounced a little bit with the changing landscape of college football here in the West, but they're going to join their old conference foes, Hawaii, Fresno State, Nevada. Utah State and San Jose State will go next year to the Mountain West. Those other 3 schools are in it this year. James Waters getting up there off the bottom. And San Jose State pushing that out. Now they'll have a short third coming.
You see they came out started running the ball. Lee Aina, grind him a little bit, just try to get some rhythm going. Now see, they're going to have press man, it looks like, on the wide receivers, because Stanford likes a lot of man. See if they can't get a situation they like, or at least get the first down on a run.
Eskridge, the deep back, fails, play fakes to him. Under pressure, throws it out. He's got a man open. Out near midfield is Peter Tuitupo. Second big catch tonight, and it's a San Jose State first.
Yeah, a little pick play. They run a wide receiver in motion underneath with a crossing route behind it. Good job by Fales knowing where he wants to go to the ball and being patient enough to wait for that window to come open and find Tuitupo.
And that's what don't you respect that, Glenn? Is Fales knew he was going to get popped.
Knew he was going to get hit, stood in the pocket. You're absolutely right, and that's what I think that's what players on the team like to see, a quarterback that can take a shot.
So now from midfield, Fales scrambling and tries to push one up the sideline. Nice adjustment by his receiver and a catch down to the 30-yard line, and that's Noel Grigsby, who outmaneuvered Terrence Brown.
Well, great job by Fales run in the scramble drill. You take a look now. There's Grigsby right there. He decides to go deep. There's coverage, so he stops and comes up under the ball. Fales a good job keeping his eyes downfield during the scramble.
Biggest play of the night, 21 yards for San Jose State. Now they give it to Eskridge. Trying to stretch it a little bit to the left. He gets 3 yards to the Stanford 27. Ryan?
As you guys watch David Fales drop back to pass, I'm very impressed with San Jose State's offensive line. They're doing a great job protecting him, keeping him clean, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's been very effective tonight.
Well, I like that. Ryan giving some love to the big boys.
I know I had to give a little love to the offensive line. I know that's rare for me as a defensive player, but they definitely deserve it.
Well, they have been facing what looks to be a superior defensive line at Stanford and done a very nice job keeping Fales upright.
Here comes Tarpley on a blitz, but San Jose State picks him up, and that ball's almost picked. Over the middle, Murphy had a shot at that ball for Stanford.
Yeah, Trent Murphy undercutting this route, does a nice job getting his hands out there. Coming into the right side, you'll see him just a little under route. He just stays in his zone the entire way. Fales, I don't know that Fales ever picked him up. Sometimes a quarterback stepping back, looking at safeties, will lose a guy in that flat, not see him, and he'll be able to undercut that route. And that's exactly what Trent Murphy did right there.
So, an important third again for San Jose State. They need 7. They empty the backfield. Fales throws a touch ball, and Grigsby makes another terrific adjustment. Well, he picked on Terrence Brown a couple of plays ago, opposite side of the field. He goes against Barry Browning, and that's 20 yards and a Spartan first.
And Noel Grigsby, again, as you said, the adjustment. Coming back shoulder, getting himself over the top, finding the ball, coming up with that catch. Noel Grigsby, again, and that's the third time this game we've seen him make an adjustment on the ball in the air. Ball skill is important for a wide receiver.
So 4 catches for Grigsby. Now San Jose State first and goal, and a touchdown here clearly puts a little different spin on this game. Early third quarter. Jurich is in, runs the ball, and gets it down to the 3. So Blake Jurich makes his second appearance tonight.
And you take a look, coming right at you. Jurich just waits for that double team between his tackle and his guard to block down. That gets him a nice hole in the B gap. And you wonder, does San Jose State think that their offensive line, giving up some size a little bit to that Stanford D-line, that they can punch it in running the ball?
Jurich stays in with the goal line set, and Jurich runs it in. So Mike McIntyre putting his own Tebow twist on the San Jose State offense, putting Jurich in the game in the red zone, letting him run.
Yeah, putting his nose down, finding the goal line. You like what they do. They pull a backside offensive lineman. They lead with a fullback. You take a look here. Oh, you have to love good blocking at the point of attack, get your pad level down, win the leverage battle, allow your big quarterback to run behind his pads and get in the end zone.
Austin Lopez kicks through the point. Well, a little different feel now early in the third quarter. Stanford jumped out 14-0. San Jose State now within 7. Now David Fales took San Jose State down the field, and then Blake Jurich, there they both are. Blake Jurich finished it with a pair of runs that punched the ball in from the 7-yard line.
Yeah, great down blocking, and then you block down with Quisenberry, and you bring big Nicholas Casper around. You get a nice fullback block, opened up. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful how wide it opened for Jurich to get in there. Got to give some credit to Nicholas Casper. Out of Dana Point, another Southern Cal surfer kind of guy.
Yeah, surfers to offensive line. It's a natural progression, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There you see the drive for San Jose State. Well, Mike McIntyre, we talked about this at the first quarter. You could see the fear building. Like, you don't want to get hammered early. Now in the third quarter, this is just where you want to be. It's within a score.
Yeah, he'd like to have that one back and be within the field goal, but you're absolutely right. He's got to like where his team sits right now.
Kickoff by Wade. This will be a short kick, run back from the 8-yard line. And it's Ty Montgomery getting the shot. This kickoff, he's run back tonight. And David Shaw saying he's going to kind of spot Montgomery a little bit on the kick return. Just across the 20-yard line. Well, here's a Stanford great who's with Ryan.
Hey, Ted, I appreciate that. I'm here with 15-year NFL pro and Stanford great, Bob Whitfield. Bob, obviously you're here to watch your son, Cody. How excited are you as a father to be watching your son play in his first game?
Oh, I'm honored. I mean, he put in all the hard work. He is such a brilliant kid. He's helped me just understand life from just his young age, and he's just a blessing to have.
Now, when we were talking earlier on the sideline, you mentioned that your son was helping you, tutoring you in Spanish. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was a thing I owed to my mother, just finishing my degree. So I came back, and me and Cody was in school this summer together, and I was taking Spanish, so he was helping me through.
Excellent. Now, when you look at your son and his athletic ability, all the coaches have been singing his praises. What makes him special as a wide receiver?
I think just learning the offense real quickly, his hard work and running good routes, and just his tenacity trying to get on the field.
Well, Bob, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, I'm going to watch Cody Whitfield all day long. He's an excellent player.
And David Shaw told us he would play. Whitfield would play tonight. We'll see if that happens here. Toilolo, tight end slot left. Nunes throws to Montgomery on the right side, and Montgomery gets a first down. Let's just finish real quickly what Bob Whitfield was referencing. Now, Bob Whitfield was an exceptional pro as well. But Stanford University has long held a custom. If you are a student athlete at Stanford, you leave to pursue your pro career in any sport, you can come back at any time. You'll be accepted back to finish your degree. And that's what Bob Whitfield has been doing.
That is outstanding. That's a great story.
38-yard line now for Stanford and a first down. Stephon Taylor had a huge first drive tonight. Start to ground and pound a little bit again. There's the CV of Bob Whitfield, 15-year NFL player.
I remember when he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. It was my third year in the league, and he came in and he was a stud from the get-go.
Stanford has had several traditions throughout its football history. One of them is sons of. And there's a couple, including Cody Whitfield, who may play tonight. Fake a little fly sweep there, and it's the wildcat snap again to Anthony Wilkerson. Second time Stanford's run that play tonight. Wilkerson is just short of a first down. Now Whitfield, we are told, is going to play. This is Barry Sanders, who has also been an extremely talented freshman back. But David Shaw told us that he's not sure yet. With the depth they have at running back, Barry Sanders, they're not sure whether he will play this year.
I covered Barry Sanders in a high school all-star game, and maybe, if anything, just a little undersized right now. He's just a year or so of maturity to put a little more muscle on his belt.
Short third. And Stanford going to try to run it, and San Jose State stacks it. Did not get there with Wilkerson on the carry. Well, this was the challenge for San Jose State, Glenn. Can they handle that at the point of attack? And they are doing it.
They have been doing it. You're absolutely right. They're winning the pad level battle, but you're watching. I want you to pay attention outside. You see the closing of the gaps. Linebackers are where they're supposed to be. Everybody winning the leverage battle. Pad levels nice and low. And they're going to force Stanford to punt here. That's a great job by this Spartan defense.
Derek Muava, that linebacker on that side, really stood and held that edge and allowed teammates to come in and help make that stop. And so Stanford cannot sustain their drive. They'll punt just shy of midfield. Ronnie Yell back for San Jose. And they'll take a fair catch. Well, on the verge of feeling like they may get pummeled in the first quarter of this game. San Jose State will now take possession of the ball within 7 at Stanford. Opening weekend of the Pac-12 season and the Pac-12 networks, and here are some conference players to watch, brought to you by Bank of the West. Tomorrow, Cal gets going at home with their second-year quarterback now, Zach Maynard, trying to keep that connection going with Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, an absolute stud wide receiver. Zach Maynard's got to find his rhythm in that offense, but he's definitely got to find Keenan Allen. That's his man.
That'll be noon tomorrow here on the Pac-12 networks as Fales is rushed, scrambling away. Man, that's a great job by Fales. He turns a big minus play into +5.
When you outmatch a team physically and you are perceived to be better than them, you cannot let them have life. And what you're seeing out of San Jose State right now is life. They're starting to believe that they can hang. They know they've missed a few plays. David Fales not giving up, getting himself those yards. This is a nightmare starting for Stanford. They've got to figure out a way to take the life back out of San Jose State.
Now a missed play there, and that winds up being the minus. Chase Thomas in on that play for Stanford. So that winds up being a loss, and it's going to leave San Jose State 3rd and 3.
And there you go. In the first half, we talked about the minus plays hurting them, the little plays. They do something right and then follow it with something wrong right there. Great scramble, and then you come back with a minus play, and you're behind the 8 ball a little bit.
See San Jose State surprisingly tonight with that edge in 3rd downs. They need 3. Quick Fales in the gun. Desmond Stewart has come in slot left. That's who Fales is looking at. Instead, he throws the ball to Grigsby, and he's got the first down.
Nice ball by Fales. He keeps it low, keeps it away from the defender. Grigsby, nice job going down, catching that ball, securing the catch. All right now they're doing is just making sure they're moving chains. And you look at Fales, I like the fact he's not happy with his feet. He's not trying to find a place to bail. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. He's being very decisive right now.
I would think it would be surprising to almost everybody that here midway through the 3rd quarter, that's the 5th 3rd down conversion of San Jose State.
And I think a lot of people would raise their eyebrows at that one.
Fales throwing the big ball out there, and this time Terrence Brown rather, did not let Chandler Jones get near that. Oh, that's Grigsby rather. Did not let Grigsby get by that ball. So San Jose State, Ryan Neese is trying to really stun the world this first weekend.
Glenn, you talked about it early on, comparing San Jose State to some of the other teams that are out there in the nation that are giant killers. Anytime you're a team that's underrated and you start to build confidence, you start to build rhythm, you start to build a belief in a game, all of a sudden you're starting to feel really good about yourself, and you're seeing San Jose State has a little bit of a swagger about them on offense. They're moving the ball against the Stanford defense. They look pretty impressive in the second half.
There's a handoff inside, just a short gain, although the back is really hard for Stanford to pin him down. That was Eskridge on the carry. San Jose State won 5 last year. They feel like they can contend this year in the WAC, where Louisiana Tech's considered the favorite.
Yeah, and you look here, a lot of double teams, a lot of point of attack. What they're trying to do is get 2 bodies on one on the down and slip somebody into that backer spot, let your running back get a little bit of that daylight and go. It wasn't a big game, but they're starting to have that attitude. They're starting to play with a little attitude.
5 defensive backs for Stanford, a long 3rd down for San Jose State. And Fales throws the out, and that's Carr. He just turned just past the stick. Pushed Wayne Lyons, the cornerback, back. Awareness right where he needed to be.
Yeah, too much cushion on your wide receiver, and a job by Fales of being decisive with the ball and getting some zip on it. That's a long throw. From that hash all the way to the sideline, that's a pretty long throw for a quarterback. And really is, in a start for him that he's come out very strong this second half.
2 more 3rd down conversions in this drive for San Jose State. They now have 5 first downs already in the 3rd quarter. And it's pretty much these little sideline throws. Another one to Jabari Carr.
As long as your DBs are going to give you that much cushion, it's a long handoff. Take it. We saw Stanford take it. San Jose State's just taking a page out of their playbook.
6 yards. on first down. Stanford led this game 14-0, looked totally comfortable, and San Jose State, just really the best way to say it is they got themselves right early in the second quarter. They stayed around, and now they're threatening. Fales has a man open in the middle. Hands catch by Tui Tupou.
Yeah, Tui Tupou, all he did was run. All he did was run the seam. And the minute the void behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties opened up, he sat into a window, and Fales pressure right on him. You know what? Look at that. Nothing. Early in the game, there were some hits.
I was going to ask you that question, Glenn. Doesn't seem like Stanford has put the pressure on Fales that they would have expected.
Yeah, he takes a late shot there, but Fales was able to step up in the pocket and throw on rhythm. I mean, they really have not taken the shots at him you would have thought they'd have been able to get.
So now at the Stanford 38, it's a first down handoff. Eskridge slanting to the left, gets a couple. James Vaughters, that regarded inside linebacker for Stanford, on the tackle. We follow the Pac-12 as we start this conference football season, to follow everything about this conference and to follow the schedule for the Pac-12 networks. Just go to the new website, this new address. It is pac-12.com. It's big.com. You have to do two things. You have to embrace the dash.
Embrace that dash.
.com. Option pitch, that was dangerous. Eskridge had to reach behind to corral it. He did, and actually gained a couple.
I'll tell you, the website's great. Go there in that schedule, you can filter by everything. I love that thing. But here you go. Here's that pitch you talked about. Little dangerous. Fales does not quite put it on him. Puts it behind him. That's what we talk about, that timing. Now the timing's off, your blocks are off, and instead of being a 6-yard gain, it's a 3-yard gain.
Well, Stanford's defense needs to make a stand here. They've allowed a couple of third conversions on this drive. 3rd and 5 now. It is Jurich in the game, going to run the ball. And Jurich almost broke it. Carrington saved it for Stanford.
And you see the emotion. You see the swing. San Jose State believes. Take Fales out, put in Jurich, get that, run that zone read. You see it here, he follows him on his hip, takes off, follows the big block. Ryan Jones pulls around, he gets up off his tail, and up he goes.
You don't think Tebow's influenced the game of football, do you?
A lot of that.
The old theory that has operated for a long time in this game: if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. San Jose State trying to disprove that here, right?
They're challenging that theory.
Fales takes the snap on first. Post, touchdown! And San Jose State is a kick from tying. Grigsby.
San Jose State all day long has attacked the safeties. They have taken what's given outside against corners, but they have really attacked the seam and the safeties. And on this play right here, you look at the Fales, he comes back, he starts to the left, looks back under, realizes he's got Grigsby wide open, right in that void where the safety should be.
And right to the right of those goalposts where that kick was just made is the core of San Jose State fans wearing blue, and they have not had a lot to cheer about in recent years. There they are against Stanford. They are roaring as their Spartans have come back in stunning fashion to tie this game.
Coors Light says don't get flagged for breaking the law. It's a cold, hard fact. 21 means 21. So keep yourself and your friends in the game.
Well, here at Stanford, they think that this game has now gone off script. It's not the way it was supposed to go to the folks in Palo Alto. San Jose State has come back from a 14-0 deficit. They've tied this game. The drive that San Jose State just finished off, there you see 12 plays, but the big is there. 3 third-down conversions, 3, 6, and 8, where the distance is converted all of them.
Yeah, and you look back to the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, and Stanford had a 3 and out. They were stopped. At that same time, San Jose State kind of started believing, and that's what happens. And San Jose State, I'll tell you what, Fales and Jurich, both very good job of doing what they were brought in to do. course, Fails throwing the ball, Jarrett's running it, but both guys effective at their job. And both guys, it's interesting, you talk about the two quarterbacks you have, none. San Jose State certainly doesn't believe it right now, and they seem to be complimenting each other very well.
Well, look at that yardage difference, and David Fails with the headset on in the second half is 8 of 10 passing. For the game, he's 20 of 25 for 201.
And that doesn't bode well for a Stanford team that's going to face a lot of good quarterbacks in the Pac-12.
Well, right now it's tonight for Stanford. 17 minutes and change to play in this game, and now it is a game. And the play clock expired. Did Stanford get a timeout again? Let's see.
Of course,
line judge coming over to talk to the referee, Jack Wood.
Coach Shaw not happy, as you can tell. But is a coach ever happy? Most coaches I knew were very happy.
I was going to say, can you name 3?
Yeah.
Timeout,
right.
Stanford. Their first charge timeout of the half.
All right, so the ruling by the officials is that the timeout was granted. Well, the last time these teams played at Spartan Stadium in San Jose was the last time San Jose State won, and here's a reason why. James Jones, you see him play now on Sundays for Green Bay. This 42-yard spectacular run puts San Jose State up. And another player who's in the NFL seals the game. Dwight Lowry picks off that Trent Edwards pass, and San Jose State, which had a 9-win season that year.
Under Dick Tomey. I have a lot of love for that man. He was my college coach for my career at the University of Arizona. And, a gentleman.
You see the last time San Jose State won here. There have been a lot of connections between these schools. Of course, this is the Bill Walsh legacy game. Bill was honored, his memory was honored at halftime. Bill Walsh, a San Jose State graduate, twice the coach and once the athletic director here at Stanford. Ball batted down to the line. There's Nunes' pass. The second one he's had swatted down, and that's the older brother, David Tuitupo.
Again, you can't get to the quarterback. What do? You hands up, picket fence, knock the ball down. It's good coaching by the Spartan coaching staff. Nunes there. There's Tuitupo. Gets his hands up. Wasn't close to the quarterback, got his hands up, affected the same thing.
So Stanford needs a spark now on offense on 2nd and 10. Can they ground and pound? Well, they try it there with Taylor, and it's short gain, just 2 yards. Muwava for San Jose State.
Spartan's got a lot of life right now. Defense is feeding off the success of that offense. And they're starting to move. They're starting to win the leverage battle. Take a look at Stephon Taylor. Look at the color. A lot of the opposing color where he was running.
So Stanford faces a long third here. That's Kent Bear again with the glasses on, who was a coach here. You see the length of time, and that included the last time Stanford won the Pac-10 that he went to the Rose Bowl, 1999 season. He was the D coordinator. Third down. Extra people coming, and the extra man bumps Nunes and then forces a throwaway. So that late blitz up the middle by Vince Buhajar. And he got any hit Nunes. Nunes did not go down, but it disrupted the play.
Yeah, you take a look. This is middle cross dog. And you get a running back trying to cut that Mike linebacker and misses him, as you said. Buhajar comes free, needs to make that tackle, but disrupts it enough that Nunes can't get the ball out in time, and there is no first down.
Well, this third quarter has been all San Jose State. Stanford led 17-3 as we started the second half. Now San Jose State will take possession of the ball and a chance to drive for the lead. This game that, after the passing of Bill Walsh in 2007, became known as the Bill Walsh Legacy Game. Of course, Bill, his college coaching was done here at Stanford in 2 separate stints. He was also the athletic director, the last position he held here at Stanford, interim athletic director. But he's a San Jose State graduate, and that is a plan on the San Jose State campus. They're going to build a new football center, which will be named the Dick Vermeil Football Center, another Spartan graduate, but within it will be the Bill Walsh Legacy Center. Bill's son, Craig, donating many of Bill's materials on leadership and mentoring for that program to develop at his alma mater. And the tentacles going further. David Shaw played here at Stanford for Bill Walsh in Bill's second coaching tenure. And what David Shaw talked to his team about this week about the Bill Walsh Legacy Game was about the fact that Bill Walsh loved to box. He was a boxer as a young man and loved boxing analogies, and he talked to his team about how Bill preached first strike, constantly be aggressive. And right now Stanford needs that because they're being pushed back a little bit.
And they need that leadership that we talk about with Bill Walsh, because they need that defense to respond. They need that defense to step up. They just had something go wrong. They need to come back and respond. It's not how you react, it's how you respond. See if they can't make something happen for their offense now.
While Nunes and the offense trying to regroup for Stanford, this is what the Cardinal defense needs. They have not been good on third down tonight. And now they have a chance to get the ball right back if they can hold here on 3rd and 12.
And the question is now for Stanford, do you sit back, keep them in front of you and tackle, or do you attack that quarterback and try to make a play?
Derek Mason, the defensive coordinator. Let's see how he plays this. In the pistol, a pitch to Eskridge, getting outside. Ball pops free, Stanford has it. Eskridge was not going to get the first down, and then Jarrett, let's see who that is. There's 2 15s on the field, so we'll make sure we get the right man. That's Amonum, who recovers the fumble after it was jarred free. Uswa Amonum is the nickel back for Stanford. And there you see, it looks like Anderson got in there.
Well, they did a great job. They dropped back in zone. They read the play, and then they attacked the ball when it came up, popped that ball loose.
So Stanford with the takeaway and starting at the San Jose State 38. Ball thrown high. Well, that's where you want to throw it. And the first catch tonight for Levine Toilolo, who's another one of the tight end weapons here at 6'8".
And you kind of wondered when they were going to start attacking with Toilolo. Everything he's run so far has been an underneath route. He really hasn't run anything deep. With his size, with his height and his length, you got to start attacking the seam and attacking the safeties. That'll open things underneath for your wide receivers on drag routes, which will then get them into space.
So 13 yards and a first down. So Stanford right now is at the 25-yard line as the quarter expires. Well, for the Stanford Cardinal, they're going to try to have a real significant case of amnesia here, because that third quarter they want to forget. It was all San Jose State. 14 Spartan points, and we are tied heading to the fourth. Now, Stanford scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter tonight. And they haven't scored a touchdown since. San Jose State got 2 touchdowns in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you sensed early on San Jose State was going to be able to do some things. They just couldn't capitalize. And then they turned it around in the third quarter, really have come on strong. You look at the summary. Really, to me, the thing that sticks out, Fales having a great game. 20 of 26, been very efficient. But that third down conversion, 7 of 12. Stanford only 1 of 8. That's the game story.
But after a turnover, Stanford has the ball in San Jose State territory. And on first down, Taylor runs straight ahead, gets a good gain. Taylor pushing it just inside the 20.
Stanford, Pep Hamilton, they are who they are. And they come out, they get a change of possession. A lot of teams tempted, take a shot at that end zone. Not Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator for Stanford. We're going to grind. We're power football. We're going to try to bludgeon you here and get something going, because that's who Stanford is.
And there you saw The player having to come off the field with his helmet being dislodged. Matt Kasner, a tight end. Stanford missing 2 big players tonight at fullback because of injury. Nunes goes out to the far side. Nice move inside by Drew Terrell. He's inside the 10.
Well, Nunes does a nice job. He's looking, he looks left, he looks down the middle of the field. See his eyes, there's left, there's down the middle, comes back all the way over, finds Terrell, gets a nice game. They set themselves up very nicely here.
So 1st and goal. Taylor, the deep back. Nunes play fake, looking, going up for Toilolo, and San Jose State defends the pass. They got up there big. Keith Smith, linebacker, dropping back to cover the big tight end.
That's a mistake of, Nunes makes a mistake here of inexperience. He looks at Toilolo all the way. Toilolo on this play action, just running towards the corner. He followed him the entire way with his eyes. It was easy for Keith Smith to fall back into that window and make that a very tough throw.
Credit as well there to safety Cullen Newsom. You saw there he is. Right. Newsom's the man that really went up to contest the throw. Smith was also on the cover. 2nd down, and Taylor running the ball into the middle of the field and still running. Well, that might have been a play to center the ball, and it winds up centering the ball all the way down inside the 3.
Well, you know, 2nd down, you just thrown it, so let's run this thing. Let's get behind our hosses. Every one of the offensive linemen driving their feet, but I'll tell you what, Stephon Taylor makes most of this on his own. Once he gets to that 2nd level, he just starts carrying Spartans.
And actually, the ball is right on the 3-yard line. 3rd and goal for Stanford. They converted 2 4th downs on the first drive of the night. I don't think they want to have to make that decision.
He's got a matchup with Toilolo out to the left.
Yeah, Toilolo went wide left, but Nunes looking right, throws back at the end zone, incomplete. And it's Zach Ertz looking for a little help. Not going to get it, and David Shaw is going to kick.
And that's the smart thing to do. And here's up at the top of the screen. Ertz just trying to get around behind. Nunes maybe should have been a little more patient on that throw and let Ertz get into the window before he throws it.
James Orth was the safety there for San Jose State. So Jordan Williamson out in essence an extra point here to give Stanford the lead. And Williamson puts that through. Well, David Shaw told Ryan Neese at halftime, a couple of drives that stalled. There's another one. Get the ball down to the 3-yard line, but unable to punch it in. And see, Mike McIntyre looks at that like it's a win. Now here's the perfect addition for your iPad. That's right, go to the iTunes store and download the Pac-12 Now iPad app. You can use your TV provider username and password to log in and then watch Pac-12 networks from anywhere. Now, if you don't see your TV provider yet on the login screen, of course, we're brand new on the air. We'll be rolling out new providers over the coming weeks. It'll be a great way to take the Pac-12 with you in this wonderful step forward for this fabulous conference. The Pac-12 networks, which will bring live coverage of not just football and basketball, but all of the sports in this Conference of Champions. And on this opening football weekend, surprisingly close 4th quarter game here at Stanford Stadium tonight. And that kickoff's going to be ruled to have gone out of bounds before it crossed the pylon.
Kickoff out of bounds, kicking team. Ball will be placed at 35-yard line, 1st down.
So there's a mistake by Williamson, and that's costly.
That'll upset David Shaw.
And 10 yards of field position.
Now, and you know what? You have to love David Shaw's demeanor, though, there with this quarterback talking, doesn't seem upset. That helped. That's a lot of confidence instilled in you.
We went away after that field goal, and you saw what a juxtaposition. Mike McIntyre acted like his team had just won. David Shaw looked like his team had just lost.
And he should. You know, San Jose State right here, they fumbled the ball, and their offense now wants to get something back because their defense stepped up big time and held Stanford to a field goal. So look for San Jose State here to come out with a lot of emotion on offense.
After Stanford had 1st and goal, and San Jose State forced them to kick. So now the Spartans start with this good drive start, 35-yard line. Fails, corner pressure. I'm on him. Second sack. Uswa Amanum from San Jose.
Well, if you pay attention, the safety rolls up to help the corner, and you bring Uswa Amanum in. Fales has no answer.
Well, that brings a little bit to the question we discussed, Glenn, about Stanford not getting a lot of pressure on Fales. They come out on the first play here. Dial it up.
Realize what your deficiency is, understand what their tendency is and what they've been doing, and start attacking.
Fales looking around. Play clock's going to run out. San Jose State sees it, takes a timeout. Mike McIntyre trying to get everything under control here. Fales was changing something, and bench saw that the play clock was going to run out. They're already facing 2nd and 21. So timeout, regroup, San Jose State. Stanford by 3, early fourth quarter. Tough night. Let's look at the Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frosted Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer.
Top of your screen. Oh, he's coming in. Uswa Amanum. I have a feeling that Mr. Fales froze a little as well. Seeing him coming at you. Coors Light Freeze Can.
Now that big play put San Jose State behind here in this drive. 2nd and 21. Tyler Irvin in the backfield. Fales looking to get some of this yardage back. Comes one in the flat, and they get very little. A late flag comes flying from back in the secondary.
That's where you would expect a defensive holding, maybe. Hard to tell. Maybe one of the safeties and or linebackers grabbing a receiver trying to follow the scramble. But you can never tell. Came in from the backside, kind of odd.
There is no foul on the play for pass interference. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
There you go. Nice job of describing it. Let us know, explaining why it was yanked.
Jack Wood, the referee, and now San Jose State has 3rd and 20. The gain of 1 yard on the play. Stanford putting safeties back. 5 defensive backs on the field. Really dropping deep. 3 men back near midfield. Fales is in trouble. Fales will get hammered. He did not escape. Ben Gardner off the defensive front for Stanford was the man that grabbed him. He had some help finishing, but Gardner is the man that makes the play. 3rd Stanford sack.
Hey, take a look. It's a 3-man rush. It's just a issue of a little bit of a cross, and the quarterback trying to look too far down the field. When you have that much time working, your defensive line's going to get there.
So Harrison Wade is out to punt. Stanford put 3 men running right up the middle there. Drew Terrell is going to get a little alley right side. That's a nice run back, and Terrell got it out near the 45-yard line. So Stanford has good position. Let's stay tuned after tonight's post-game show on the Pac-12 networks. Conference of Champions show, you'll hear from Andrew Luck. Pac-12 Network's Conference of Champions tonight, 11:30 Pacific time. How good was Stanford these last 2 years when they went to BCS bowl games? You can talk about Andrew Luck, Kobe Fleener, David DeCastro, and Jonathan Martin were all in the top 45 players chosen.
Yeah, in the completion percentage, the touchdown to interception ratio, but you look at that 31-7 as a starter.
Now Josh Nunes on 1st down, handing off inside, and Taylor runs it out to the 50-yard line.
You know, when you look at all the things that Andrew Luck did well, you know, he threw the ball well. We knew he moved well in space, but you know, it's so much more than that. It's understanding everything he saw and how to get the team in the right play. And many times he would audible to a run and take passing yards off of himself and put it in the run game. So his numbers could have been a lot better had he been maybe a little bit more selfish.
That Stanford coaches will go to the mat defending that point right there. Nunes throwing long interference. Tried to get it down to Kelsey Young. And they're going to flag around a yell for never turning and defending the man, not the ball.
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm not a D-back, but it looked like the receiver tried to adjust and the DB didn't have a choice.
Did he run to the receiver, run into the forced contact? Is that what you're saying?
Defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot and an automatic first down.
All right, so Ryan, what's the vulnerability when the defensive back doesn't turn?
Well, the interesting part there is they tried to run a wheel route and they tried to sneak one in on the defensive back. And anytime the defensive back doesn't turn around to look for the ball, that's an automatic call. The defensive back in that situation panicked. He grabbed the receiver. That was a proper call right there.
Wow, Ryan.
All right, fifth penalty on San Jose State. So it's a first down for Stanford at the San Jose State 35. Got to believe David Shaw, Pat Hamilton on the Stanford side. They want to finish a drive here. Get this ball into the end zone. On the run there, that is Ricky Seal. The one thing that, finishing up on Luck, Josh Nunes, he asked him a couple of times over the last 2 weeks. I've asked him, about playing behind Andrew Luck for a few years, and he said the one thing you learn, preparation. That's the word. He said, no matter what time I would get to the film room, I could never beat Andrew Luck there. And now Nunes has gone out wide left in the Wildcat with Wilkerson, going to fake the handoff. Wilkerson keeps it. Runs it down near the 25-yard line.
Looks like they're going to mark it just short of the first down.
Stanford lost another player that they used to run this kind of thing with, Tyler Gaffney, who follows in the great Stanford tradition of two sport players. And Tyler Gaffney, after this past spring, elected to continue to concentrate on baseball, no longer play football.
You know, and so many schools discourage their players from playing one sport or the other, depending on the coach of the basketball team doesn't want his player to play on the football team. I like the fact that Stanford embraces that. It harkens back to the sportsmanship of what college athletics is really about.
All right, Stanford is going to take a timeout here as they let the play clock run down. They called the timeout just before a 3rd and 1 play. Stanford using its second timeout.
Their second charged timeout of the half. There is no foul for delay of game. Stanford called timeout prior to the expiration of the play clock.
And out of this, Stanford will try to convert a 3rd and 1. Pac-12 football brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by Dr. Pepper. Tell the world what makes you one of a kind with the IMA hashtag on Twitter. On the Stanford campus, Palo Alto, California, Stanford in a tight game. 3-point lead, 3rd and 1. They bring Renan Wright in once again as the deep back in the short yardage play, and he gets the call, and he's going to get the first down. So it's the second time in this game that Stanford has brought him in. Redshirt freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And again, it's the leverage battle. Look at offensive linemen, one hand on the D-line, one hand on the ground to keep themselves low, roll their hips, run behind their backs. That's a good job by the offensive line there. You know, it's interesting. You know I'm an offensive lineman. I like to talk about them, but Stanford's one of those teams, there's a couple where it's so old style, it's so much fun to watch.
Nunes with a good play fake, but he gets hit, and the ball came free. I'm not sure if he was ruled to have thrown a forward pass there. Apparently not. Apparently that was a live ball covered. You can see some of the linemen motioning. They thought Nunes was throwing.
Well, I'll tell you what happens here. It's play action, and he's looking for Ertz down the field. It's a great job by the safety, James Orth, to cover him and not bite. Nunes has nowhere else to go with that ball and takes a shot for his troubles.
Yeah, Travis Ricidi and Damon Ogburn came in from the secondary. Ogburn did, along with Ricidi off the line. That was a live ball covered by Stanford, loss of 4.
And again, the credit, you really got to look at that safety, James Orth. He didn't bite. He was waiting for it, and he was ready.
And now we get, let's see, line judges running over. I wonder if Stanford might challenge that.
Well, the way this game is going right now and the way that the rhythm has been kind of taken away really benefits Stanford. They're able
Stanford is challenging the ruling on the previous play of a fumble.
So you get one challenge, the coach gets one shot, and it's the fourth quarter, and David Shaw is going to use it right here to see if he can avoid a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, why not? Put yourself at a 2nd and 10. But again, going back to that point, this slowed down game, this let's take a review, let's huddle up all the time, really benefits Stanford. San Jose was working on a high and working on their momentum, and they've lost that the last 5-10 minutes. The last 2 drives, to be specific.
So again, the ruling now will be determined whether or not Nunes had his arm coming forward. Is this basically we're trying to see the Pac-12 version of the tuck rule?
Wow, well done, sir. Yeah, we're going to find out right here, aren't we?
And again, now for those of you that may not be totally familiar in the NCAA, everything's reviewable from upstairs. They can automatically trigger a review from upstairs. The coaches don't have the 3 per half like you do in the professional game. Coaches get 1 shot per game to challenge.
Yeah, and then handcuffs them a little bit here. And I think it's a wise decision by Coach Shaw to challenge. I'm not sure he's going to win it.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Stanford will be charged a timeout. Stanford has lost the opportunity to challenge further during the game.
That's well explained again by Jack Wood. What the bigger perhaps storyline there is now Stanford has no timeouts left. That was their last one.
You know, we talked about that rhythm. We were talking about what San Jose State's done defensively. They've done pretty well. They stopped Stanford. They did what they had to, but offensively, San Jose State the last 2 drives, 6 plays, minus 12 yards. They've had a fumble and a punt. So there's that momentum that they had is gone. Stanford did a good job of stealing it back from them.
So the play stands. Stanford feeling that, as I said, it was a 4-yard challenge. They were trying to save 4 yards. Get Nunes out of a 2nd and 14. You can see the gestures between Shaw and Jack Wood. They were still arguing about basically the tuck rule. Was his arm in a throwing position. Nunes backs up. To set up a screen, but Taylor got taken down. That'll be interference. Taylor got taken down by Travis Rossetti.
Now again, the question will be was he behind the line of scrimmage? And he certainly looked like he was behind the line of scrimmage, which can't be interference.
That's a good play. That's a good point. That's borderline from that. Let's see if we get up.
And they're discussing it right now.
That could be holding, right?
That's an interesting
he's an eligible receiver, isn't he?
He is, but he's behind the line.
Holding defense number 43. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
You can see that was borderline to the line of scrimmage. All right. Ryan?
That could have been pass interference, but it obviously was defensive holding. The defensive lineman wrapped up the running back around the ankles before he could even catch the ball. So that was a tough play. Once again, San Jose State's making mistakes, allowing this drive to stay alive.
So now the penalty's a yardage mark off, but it is not a 1st down. It's 2nd down and 4. Taylor's going to get trapped behind the line and drop. So the fact that it's not a 1st down is significant because now that's a minus play and leaves Stanford 3rd.
And again, great job defensively by Coach Bear for San Jose State. He brings his safeties in. You look, David Ogborn, the DB. He comes in. That's color. That stops Stephon Taylor in his tracks. They understood how Stanford was going to attack him with the counter, the power for some people. They saw it, they attacked it the right way and stopped them, and now make it a very tough 3rd down.
Ty Montgomery, fast receiver for Stanford, is wide to the left. Nunes shifting, he's gonna have to snap fast here on 3rd down. Just beats the clock. Blitz picked up, ball thrown out to the far side. What a terrific catch. It's gonna be just short of a 1st down. Zach Ertz. Mike McIntyre saying no catch. I believe the ruling on the field. Let's see. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen a ruling. He was definitely short of the first down, though.
Yes, he was short. They're going to rule that incomplete.
And we'll take a look here. Ball thrown behind the receiver. Ertz does a good job of getting one hand in there to it. Certainly looked like a catch to me.
Well, Stanford can't challenge, and now it is going to be reviewed from upstairs, though.
Yeah, it looked like a catch. It's going to make it a 4th and very short from the look of it.
It was an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
So this review, and again, in the NCAA, these kinds of plays can be automatically triggered. The pro game, this doesn't happen, but in the college game, it can happen from the booth, and that's clearly what happened.
We'll take another look at it here. Nunez with the ball throws it behind Ertz. Had it been a better throw, it might have been a first or maybe more.
Yes.
But Ertz just a great job of body control, coming back with one arm and grabbing it. The only question will be is did he hit the ground with the ball to trap it? But I don't see that being a question.
Well, I freely admit, Glenn, please, and Ryan disagree with me. It looks to me like he has his arm, his right hand underneath the ball there. But I have completely lost my ability to understand what is a catch over the last couple of years. It has been so parsed and so dissected. I no longer know what's it. It used to be like your eyes told you. You could tell if it was a catch or not. I no longer know.
And I think you said it best, parsed. We've gotten to where we break things down that happen at game speed into minute little parts and make a ruling on that. Very tough for a man on the field to see it at that speed and that level and parse it out that small.
So, as Glenn pointed, if this is ruled a catch, it will still be 4th down. Given where you just saw the replay, the ball would be placed, it looks right on the 15-yard line, which would leave Stanford a yard short.
And an interesting decision then, what to do with it.
Well, what is happening here is that David Shaw has the time to decide, and again, what is important to understand here in all of these review situations was the call on the field was incomplete. So upstairs, the replay official must feel they see clear evidence to overrule.
That's right. One more look at it. Ertz, I think, just does a great job of catching that ball. I think it's an easy overrule for the officials.
Well, the other angle we saw was the one. Well, let's listen to Jack Wood.
After review, it has been determined that the pass was caught at the 15-yard line. It will be Stanford's ball, 4th down at the 15-yard line.
There was a view we saw where you could see that Ertz had cupped his hand underneath the football.
That's right.
And that would seem to me to be a trigger that says he had control of the football. The ground did not.
That's right. He didn't trap it. So, and you love, if you're an offensive lineman right now, and if you're a Stanford fan, you love that David Shaw says, hey, 4th and short, we're going. Let's go.
Well, Stanford converted those two on the first drive of the game. Got them a touchdown. Going for a big 4th here. Stephon Taylor, the deep back. Oh, Stephon Taylor is hit. San Jose State stops.
And it looked as if he lost control of the ball for a minute and was so busy trying to get it back that he stood up almost. San Jose State, great job defensive line, getting their pad level low and winning that battle.
Wow. Vince Buhajer, the middle linebacker, another Bay Area player from Concord. First hit here. Boom, right there.
And you can see Stephon Taylor looking hard. Once he gets hit with that body flying over the top, that ball drops down in the grip, and he's trying to grab that rather than driving his legs.
Yeah, no question they brought the chains out, but no question that San Jose State held.
Well, Stanford's defense has played great the last couple of drives. They've forced a fumble, they forced a punt. They've only allowed San Jose State 6 plays the last 2 drives. So when you take a look, San Jose State, great job defensively. What a play. Every one of them swarming to the ball.
You know, Ryan, you've been talking about the spirit you've seen down there. That San Jose State defense delivers. Now, can the Spartans control it on offense? They run a fly sweep. Fake handoff, and Jurich keeps the ball and runs it out to the 23.
And we've got an injured San Jose State player on the field.
That's going to be the center, Ruben Hassani.
Well, you take a look. Fake fly sweep. Chase Thomas, great job of sniffing it out. Unfortunately, he sniffed out the wrong player. Jurgic with the ball just.
So the
good job of yardage. Sorry.
San Jose State medical team out there now to look at Hassani, a junior from Los Angeles.
And this is a situation obviously bears looking. You're in the fourth quarter in a very tight game, and you're bringing in a backup center. So pay attention to the quarterback center exchange. And it looks like it'll be Wes Schweitzer.
Wes Schweitzer is the first reserve on the San Jose State O-line. The Spartan offensive line has fared well tonight. We told you early, David Quisenberry, their left tackle, is considered their top lineman. Their left guard is Ryan Jones, who's a San Francisco native and is the younger brother of Rob Jones. Now, if you're a college basketball fan, you know about Rob Jones because he just finished a very good basketball career at St. Mary's College here in California.
Now, of course, San Jose State uses a lot of shotguns, so that's easier for your center. But now if I'm Stanford, what am I doing? I'm putting my biggest guy on his nose, and I'm jumping him. And I'm making him very nervous with that snap every time.
Did you play with much shotgun, Glenn?
I did.
How many guys would your teams have practiced the shotgun snap for situations like this? How many guys could do it?
Well, many could do it, but we'd only ever have 2 practice it.
So it's Nicholas Caspar that's going to move over. The right guard is moving over to snap at center. Schweitzer comes in to play right guard. And Jurgic is going to hand the ball off, and Tyler Irvin is smothered in the backfield. Loss of yardage. That's Amanum again, the nickel defensive back for Stanford. Don't forget, tomorrow, Pac-12 football's opening weekend continues at noon with Nevada and Cal from the redone Memorial Stadium in Berkeley tomorrow night. The Washington Huskies kick it off in Seattle against San Diego State. You'll see it both right here on Pac-12 Networks.
Excited to see Memorial Stadium. Excited to see Keith Price up at Washington. See what he can do.
So 3rd and 6 now for San Jose State. Fails the quarterback. Shotgun snap smooth. Quick throw far, or near side rather, is wide, intended for Jabari Carr. So the Stanford defense once again.
Well, Stanford defense has started to bring pressure the last few drives, and credit them, the last 3 drives, Stanford's defense has been stellar.
Chase Thomas there with the backside pressure on Fails. So Harrison Wade out to punt. Drew Terrell caught a touchdown pass first half, takes a fair catch here, and Stanford will have a chance now. If they can engineer a good drive, they can milk a lot of the remaining 5 minutes and change. Wearing number 42 there is Stanford linebacker Alex Debniak. Had a big role in our Quicken Loans amazing play of the game. Quicken Loans engineered to amaze.
Yeah, came up, got that arm in, knocked that ball loose. They come up with it, they get themselves 3, and that's the difference in our ball game right now.
A forced fumble from Eskridge, recovered by Stanford. That they turned into the field goal. That is the difference. A slim difference it is. Debniak, one of those players, a senior, he's a backup that David Shaw says if he got a chance to play more, you would be impressed. He's had to function effectively in a reserve role. Nunes throwing it, and that is going to be ruled incomplete just past midfield.
Now,
for Terrell.
Offensive linemen and your big guys up front take a pointed pride in having what's called the 4-minute offense. Now with 5 minutes to go, it's 2nd down. You've got to be able to get at least 2 or maybe 3 first downs, and you can own the clock and the game's over. And this is a point of pride. Like 2-minute is for a quarterback, 4-minute is for the offensive lineman.
Second down running play, and That hasn't been as effective for Stanford. Taylor has not been nearly as effective since the first drive of the game, and I think a bigger question leaving this game for Stanford is going to be about their O-line and replacing those two great players.
And they really missed David DeCastro on his pulls. He was very good when he came through, finding his assignment, hitting it, and letting the running back take the small guy on. Right there, you saw it. As they pulled, that was Kevin Dancer comes around, he finds the small guy, but the big Mike Backer comes up underneath and makes the hit.
So it is third down now, and Stanford's in a passing jam, 3rd and 8. Taylor stays in, throws a nice block. Big ball down here for Montgomery, and he dropped it. Might have been the ball game.
Just might have been. You're absolutely right. And San Jose State is thinking turnabout is fair play. And here's this ball. Montgomery has to wait on it just a little bit. It's right in his hands. And sometimes those are the hardest ones to catch.
And San Jose State exhales.
Good point.
Zaglinski punts it. And a fair catch taken, so San Jose State will get another shot here at 4:14 to play. Down 3 at their 20-yard line. That's about the biggest downfield ball we've seen Stanford try tonight, isn't it?
Pretty much is. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of attacking of the corners deep.
Here's Fales' night. Hasn't been as hot the last couple of possessions, just one completion for 1 yard in the last couple of San Jose State possessions.
And they have really, they've brought him back too. They've run the ball a little bit more the last few possessions.
Stanford only rushing 3 here. Fales swings it out. Eskridge upended. Nice tackle. That's Amonum again, who's played wonderfully in the second half.
Yeah, he's shown up all over the field. You take a look. Fales here, looks deep, but then comes back to his outlet. And Amonum, just a good open field tackle. Putting his head right on the legs, trying to wrap up.
That first play may be a signal for Stanford. They only rushed 3. They were going to defend it. They covered with 8. And second down, they bring 4. Quick slant is bobbled and dropped. Kyle Nunn. And Mike McIntyre's words at halftime are ringing true now as well. His receivers have not helped Fales a lot as they could, especially in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and to his receivers, you also have to think Fales needs to maybe just take it back a notch and slow it down. He's so anxious to get the ball out of his hands. It's not quite on rhythm with his receivers yet, but you're absolutely right. The receivers got to catch the ball, hit you in the hands.
Grigsby did. Grigsby had an outstanding third quarter tonight for San Jose State. Now third down. Stanford showing Tarpley blitzes middle. Stunt by Thomas. Ball is thrown and dropped again by Nunn. But Stanford ran that inside stunt, and Chase Thomas got through to really smack Fales.
Yeah, right in his face. And quarterbacks have a hard time throwing if you're in their grill. And Chase Thomas, good job on a little TE stunt, comes around and puts himself right in the face of Fales. And Kyle Nunn has to come up with that ball. It's not a game changer, but it's certainly for him, it's important to make sure you make that grab.
So fourth down, we're getting into a punting battle here in this 3-point game. Terrell takes the fair catch, 34-yard line of Stanford. Well, Stanford is pretty much 2 first downs is what they need here. And they can make sure they get out of here with a tight victory next Saturday, a week from tomorrow night. 7:30 game against Duke. That'll be right here in the Pac-12 networks. And then, as we referenced, it's tough. USC at Washington. And this year, a scheduling quirk, the annual big game, Stanford Cal, being played in the middle of October. Well, if you're Stanford and you're going to continue what you established the last couple of years, this is the time, right? If you're going to ground and pound,
okay, this is it. you hand it off to Stephon Taylor. You pull one of your guards, you either X blocks or pull him, and you run your tight ends and maybe a couple extra tackles in on the side, and you grind for a few minutes here and see if you can't wrap this thing up.
Mike McIntyre on the San Jose State side using a timeout. He has one left. Mike McIntyre went coached under Bill Parcells in the NFL, as you see their upcoming schedule. He was at Duke as an assistant coach when San Jose State hired him. But he had a great coaching name, John Ralston. John Ralston, one of the men who's coached at both of these schools, of course, took Stanford to Rose Bowls a while back. And Mike McIntyre had John Ralston, who's still at San Jose State, speak to his team about the Bill Walsh legacy this week. So Nunes on 2nd down and 4. And Stephon Taylor, nice drive by Taylor, but he is just short. And now Mike McIntyre is going to use the last timeout, so he's basically rolling it all here on this next play.
That's right, and his defense has come up repeatedly throughout this game and done a very nice job, but now they really need to stop. It's Stephon Taylor. Another good job keeping his feet going, grinding, protecting the ball. That's very important. You lose sight of the fact that sometimes guys grind and try to get those extra yards, keep the ball away from their body, don't have 3 points of pressure, get it knocked away. Not Stephon Taylor.
So Taylor, and again, much of that, even a lot of that first half number came on the first drive. So now it's a battle of wills, isn't it? Is Stanford willing to just line up and say, I know, you know we're going to run it, but we're going to run it anyway?
Yeah, and I think that that's what they're going to do. And they've got to talk to their offensive linemen and say, it's a point of pride, let's go.
Brian, what's your take?
Well, late in the game, it's all about will. And when you look at Stanford's offense and what they're doing running the ball, Coach Shaw talked about it's a 15-round bout. And they got to continue to run the ball effectively and impose their will and wear down the San Jose State defense.
Well, they ran a delay handoff, and San Jose State was in the backfield. They were basically with Taylor when he got the ball. So Stanford cannot get a first down.
Horrible. Well, you've got guys replacing guys on the offensive line, and when you pull and you're hesitant, you do not make the block. Khalil Wilkes pulled, didn't quite know where he was going. There was a miscommunication, whatever, and now all of a sudden your back is hesitating, and when you're trying to get 2 yards, you're already 4 yards deep, and you've got a loss.
We saw Mawava leading that defensive surge. Here's the Stanford punt. It's a low line drive, but it's going to hit on the near sideline, skip, and then go out inside the 20. So San Jose State will have a shot here after a 43-yard punt and roll. 2:21. No timeouts. And also remember, they have a true freshman kicker.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they try to do, but you know, if I'm San Jose State, I'm not sure that I don't just spread it as much as I possibly can, get my speed into space, and just connect on 1 or 2 short passes to begin with and see where we can go.
Well, that is long gone, that kind of mismatch. San Jose State has been right in here tonight after being pummeled in the first quarter. Now, do they have the fourth quarter magic in them? Fails, hits the first play to Jabari Carr. And that'll be a first down, which is what they need because that gives them a momentary clock stop.
Now, eventually you have to look for Ryan Otten, the big tight end, in the seam. They will eventually attack that spot.
Full option pitch to Eskridge. He stays in bounds, so the clock will run, and he lost a yard.
And you wonder about that call, and you wonder why he stays in bounds. Just not understanding the situation. That clock's ticking now, and you're behind the chains.
David Fales, his first game in college. He spent a year at Nevada, never played. 2 years in junior college. Now trying to engineer a fourth quarter game-winning drive against a ranked team. Throws the out, nice catch, and Grigsby got the sideline and got out of bounds.
And you can see Coach McIntyre saying, let's go, hurry up, let's move.
Oh, are they ruling that an incompletion? I believe they're ruling that a bobble as he went out of bounds.
Oh, take a look. Here's the replay. Tough.
Yep, that's the ruling on the field.
Well, we'll see if they're going to review that thing. It's a good call by Sam Polis there, helping us out.
Ruling on the previous play was an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
Well, of course, that benefits San Jose State. They can get a little huddle on the sideline, talk to their coach, see what's going on. The question is, did he complete the process of the catch? It looks like he's pinned it against his leg, but we'll see. Does that count as a catch or not? I'm going to say that they will probably not overturn it. But like you said, they've parsed it out so much, who knows what they're going to call.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, I have a hard time looking at that and having much of an opinion. What do you think?
Well, I look at it and I think, why can't you pin it against your leg and call that control? If I'm running down the field, it's not a fumble if I pin it against my leg, right? So why can't it be a catch if I pinned it against my leg?
And the explanation always comes back is that you have to, in other words, in that case, you've already established control of the ball. In this case, the receiver, before he pins the ball against his leg, does he ever have control?
Right.
He's never established control.
And I'll just go back to that.
Go ahead.
It's situations, and there's so much to it now that you kind of lose that, as you said, eyeball test a little bit.
Yeah, that part of it's, and this is, look, replay has been a great thing.
Absolutely.
I believe. Personally.
Absolutely.
Replay's been a great thing. We've seen it positively impact so many situations, but there's always in life trade-offs. And look, if you're on the San Jose State side right now, you love replay because at least you think you're getting a fair shot.
And you're getting a timeout. Get a chance to talk it over. And no matter what they call on this, I'm still surprised that San Jose State has not attacked with Ryan Otten down the seam. He's
here we go.
Line. It will be third down, San Jose State at the 35-yard line.
All right, they did rule it a catch.
So apparently pinning against your leg counts as a catch.
Well, our man, advanced football knowledge from Sam Polis here, was exactly right. So that's a completed pass. It is 3rd and 5 now for San Jose State at their own 35. The clock is going to stop either way because Grigsby was out of bounds. So it's 1:25 to play. 7 third downs converted tonight. Does Fales have another one in him? No. And A.J. Tarpley flew in front there and nearly picked it. So now San Jose State is down to their last gasp.
Well, they were trying for Ryan Otten there, but they ran him on a run to the sticks rather than running him vertical past the safety. I got to go vertical with him. I got speed with him. I got to use him that way.
A little smack by Ben Gardner at the end. So this is it. San Jose State must convert. Their first 4th down play tonight. Fales has 2 wides each side. Safety blitz coming is picked up. Pass, no, let's see. That was a whistle blown before, and it's a false start.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
How about Stanford dialed up a big-time safety blitz there by Jordan Richards?
Yeah, from depth, and that, of course, got the tackle, David Quisenberry, left tackle up top of the screen, got him moving a little bit. He saw motion, moved. And it's tough. When you're a tackle, you're in hostile territory, it's 3rd and long and 4th and long, and you've got that guy breathing down your neck. You want to move. You want to get out.
So now San Jose State needs 10 to stay alive. Same alignment from the right hash. 2 receivers wide left, 2 tight to the right. Only 3 rush. Fales, breaks away. Now throws one up the middle. Intercepted. And Reynolds. And finally, Stanford and feel safe.
And that was David Otten, his tight end, over the safeties, and the ball's thrown behind him. He throws it out in front. He might have a reception and might have a big time play. He just on the run didn't have the accuracy to put it where he needed to. And he has played a great game tonight. He shouldn't hold his head down too low. An interception on a 4th and 10 is nothing, but you look left of your screen, David Otten is going to come into view. There's the scramble. The ball's behind him. That ball's out in front. David Otten might still be running. So they had the right play dialed up. They knew where they wanted to go. Pressure forced fails to move, and he couldn't quite deliver the ball.
And now Stanford can just take a couple of knees. San Jose State with no timeouts. And Stanford will only have to do this one more time.
Well, this is the type of game you hate as a coach, but you like. Because he's got some things now. They got the win, and they can go in and he can coach all week on it. He's got a lot of film to look at, and he's got a lot of things he can correct with his team.
It's amazing to look again at the facial expressions. You would not know from that who's going to walk out here with the win as the coach. And Mike McIntyre obviously is going to take this, as he openly said last week when I went to one of his practices. Look, this is the best team we're going to play all year. Stanford knows they've got a huge test in 2 weeks when USC comes here to preseason #1. So you'd imagine that David Shaw will have no trouble having the attention of his team following this.
Yeah, and Duke has got talent. They're all on scholarship as well. So he's got to make sure that he plays them hard and plays them right and wins that game. And on the flip side, as you said, Coach McIntyre, he thinks they can compete for the title. And you know what? Going into this game, I wasn't so sure, but after watching them play, they certainly have the talent to get it done.
And for Stanford, perhaps a game 1 report card will revolve a little bit about the price of having to replace 4 offensive players who were amongst the best in the nation as judged by the pro draft. You can't, maybe it's not just to snap fingers to replace those 4 guys.
That's right, and it's the experience you lose, it's the knowledge in every situation that you lose, and it's understanding that on any given down, one of those 4 guys that is replacing them can make a mistake that you would not have had the previous year.
All right, let's hear now from David Shaw. We go back down to Ryan.
Thanks, Ted. Coach, your team was in a dogfight tonight. They showed character. They fought through adversity. You found a way to get a win. What are your takeaways from tonight?
You just said it. That's the biggest positive, that our guys kept fighting all the way. We made a lot of mistakes. And you know what, give Coach Mack and his team credit. Kent Bear, the defense coordinator, does a heck of a job. Has done it here at Stanford, has done it at Notre Dame, he's done it at Washington. He's been very good. Our guys responded to some challenges that we made for ourselves that we got to get back and get fixed.
It's got to feel good, though, that your defense was able to step up and get you some key stops late in the game.
That was big. That was big. If we play like that the whole game, this game would have been a lot different. I put a lot of pressure on our defense. Our defense gets a lot of praise, and we're on all kinds of watch lists, all kinds of watch lists. Those things don't matter. Only thing that matters is how you play between the lines, and we didn't play well enough tonight.
Well, Coach, congrats on your first win. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Back up to you, Ted.
Well, that's about what I would have expected to hear. How about you, Glenn?
Yeah, that's what you expect from a coach that knows what he wants to tell his team, knows what he saw, and I think he's excited for the future, but knows he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, I would tell you this, it's a different era as Stanford football created over the last 5 years. Expectation, the standards are much higher. And Stanford tonight had to sweat it out, winning 20-17. Our game tonight produced by David Feldman, directed by Mike Bird. Thanks to our entire crew.